Very good afternoon, everyone. It's my absolute pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Pradeep Vibraj. On the today's session is pitch development. And who better to guide us on this topic than someone who has spent over a decade and helping 650 plus founders across 25 plus countries craft pitches, then actually win, whether it's in the front of investors or clients. As a founder of Presentim India, leading pitch strategy and business storytelling agency, he has helped startups to raise over $150 million in funding. Before becoming a storytelling entrepreneur, he spent nearly a decade in the oil and gas industries with the global giants like Shell and ExxonMobil. So he truly understands what it takes to sell a compiling vision in high stakes room. With 500 plus speaking session under his belt and 1000 plus startups mentored, he is one of the India's most sought after voices on pitch strategy and communication. So please give a very warm welcome to the chief storyteller, Mr. Pradeep Yuvran. Sir,
Wow,
sir,
that
it's good to
introduction
have
is
you.
like making me a little squirm in my seat. The the bar has been raised so high, so now I have to really work hard to keep it up. Wonderful. Hey Ravi from Niliko, Lakshman, good to see you guys. Good morning, good afternoon, Assalamu alaikum, Sasriyakal, Vanakkam, Namaste, wherever you're joining from. My name is Pradeep Yuvraj, and for the next 3 hours, we are going to be friends, and we are all going to be connected by one theme called pitch decks. I know some of you are startups, some of you are founders, some of you are researchers. So there is a wide array of people. Let me share my screen. Okay, done. Super. Okay, Anish, can you give me a thumbs up if you're able to see my screen? Yeah, and those of you joining on the phone, you may need to do side by side because then you'll see both the windows, my slides and me as well. Wonderful. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put on some music. I want you to forget everything that's troubling you, okay? Your loan problems, your credit card problems, you have to pay the bill, whether the war will get over or no, whether cylinder will come to the house or no. Forget all that. Just close your eyes, take deep breaths, and relax, okay? Nothing more. Ravi, just give me a thumbs up if you're able to hear. Ravi Niliko. Done. Close your eyes. Deep breaths. Relax. Nothing more. Just relax. आंखें बंद कर लो. Just close your eyes and relax.
அக்னிகுஞ்சொன்று கண்டேன் அக்னிகுஞ்சொன்று கண்டேன் அங்கொரு காட்டிலோர் அதை அங்கொரு காட்டிலோர் பொந்திடை வைத்தேன் அக்னிகுஞ்சொன்று கண்டேன் அதை அங்கொரு காட்டிலோர் பொந்திடை வைத்தேன் வெந்து தணிந்தது காடு வெந்து தணிந்தது காடு தழல் வீரத்தில் குன்றென்றும் மூப்பென்றும் உண்டோ.
One. Open your eyes. Anyone gone to sleep? Good morning. Wake up. There are two reasons why I play this song almost as a prefix to every workshop that I do. Reason number one is for those 90 seconds that I played the song, many of you were struggling to keep your eyes closed. You wanted to open up and peep and see what's happening. We all lead such a fast life. We are running, running, running. Sometimes we know why we are running. Sometimes we have no clue why we are running, but we keep running, right? But in life, it's very, very important that we take a pause and step aside and look at our own life as a third person. Why? Because when I am running, it's very difficult for me to know whether I'm on the right direction or no. But when you take a pause and step aside and look at your own life as a third person, it becomes much more easier for you to understand whether you're in the right direction or no. I want the next 3 hours that we spend together to be that pause for all of us. Where through the lens of the pitch deck, I help each of you take a pause and step back and look at your own life as a third person. If you're on the right track, great. If not, request everyone to kindly keep yourself muted. Dr. Harsh Sethi, you'll have to mute yourself, sir. Yeah. If you're not on the right track, let's do some course correction. But more importantly, the reason why I play the song is the lyrics that you heard. Agni kunjondru kandene angor katilor pondirei veithen vendu tanindadu kaadu talal veerathil kunjendru muppendru mundo, said Mahakavi Bharatiyar. A song written in my mother tongue, Tamil. He wrote the song in 1904. And he says, I took a small spark of fire. मैंने एक छोटा सा चिंगारी लिया and I left it deep inside the forest. And the next day when I came back, what happened? The entire forest was burned down to ashes. And that is the power of the Indian youth, is what Mahakavi Bharatiyar wrote. He wrote this in the context of the freedom struggle. Young Indians were afraid of the British Empire. They thought we are a tiny speck. And that's when he said, even a tiny spark can burn down the entire forest. So think of what you can do against the Gora Sahibs. My question to you, my dear friends, is what does that spark represent for you and me? हमारी जिंदगी में उसका क्या मायना है? भुवनेश जी, what do you think that spark represents for us?
As far as the spark concerned, we just started with a thought, and we wanted to be executed, and this is a spark.
Okay.
And everyone, once we enter in this particular domain as a startup, personally for myself, I'm
Right.
from oil and I'm from oil and gas only, and when I went into 2B, I was working as a CEO, and again
Okay. For the sake of brevity, we will pause. But I get the point. The thought, right? Bhunesh says it's the thought. Parth, what do you say? What do you think that spark represents for you and me as entrepreneurs? Maybe you can put it in chat as well. Those of you who don't want to unmute.
Yeah, am I audible, sir? Hi.
Yeah.
So for me, the spark is nothing but the curiosity to solve
Curiosity.
the
Okay.
problem.
We'll keep it to one word. Okay. We'll all keep it to one word. Okay. OS.
Let's say dream.
Dream. Okay. Lakshman, what do you think?
I would say it's a revolution.
Okay. The spark represents the power of an idea. An idea at any point of time is a very tiny spark. When Elon Musk started, it was a tiny spark. When JRD started, it was a tiny spark. When Narayan Murthy started Infosys, it was a tiny spark. But when you give fuel and oxygen to the spark, it has the power to change the entire world, or metaphorically speaking, burn down the entire forest. So if there is one thing you remember from these 3 hours that we spent together, it is this, my dear brothers and sisters, that in you as an entrepreneur, you have the power of an idea. Indirectly, you have the power to change the world. On your journey, you will see ups and downs. The spark will dagmagify, but remember, your spark has the power to change the world. Give it fuel and oxygen, and it will change the world. With that, let's get into what we're going to do today. We're going to do 3 things today. We will understand the power of storytelling for an entrepreneur. Number 2, we will understand the various aspects of a pitch deck. And then number 3, we will understand the various aspects of pitching. I am aware that many of you, all of you rather, have been selected to represent India, or many of you have been selected to represent India abroad, and many of you are also presenting to investors day in and day out, both Indian and foreign. So the third part will will focus more on the delivery aspects, and I also have a module on delivering to Western investors / audiences, or global investors / audiences, to be right. Which brings us to a very important question, right? Harini.
Yes, sir.
Harini, who am I to do this session for you?
Uh, uh,
You
I mean,
don't
if you
know who I
ask
am,
me,
you
you
don't
are
know my
somebody
background. Yeah?
Yeah. But I mean, I would say you're somebody who has been through the same journey or the same experiences that you've had
Right.
in your life as such, and
But
in
did you
everything that you've
did you do
gone
any
through so
research about
far.
me to come to that conclusion, Harini?
I did not, sir. I did not. I did
Ah,
not.
see,
I mean, it's just from the
then it's
introduction that was given
right.
by the
From the
participant that
introduction that
I know.
Parag gave, right? Prayag is my brother, so he spoke great things about me. Probably you never know, right? So what we'll do, Harini, is I'll take a couple of minutes. I'll tell you my life journey.
Okay.
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 Once I'm done, Harini, on behalf of everyone, you
Mhm.
will decide whether you want to sit for the session or no. Okay. If you decide
All right.
yes,
Okay. Okay.
you have to mentally, physically, emotionally be here. But you
Okay.
also have the choice to say no. If you say no, we'll all do Tata bye bye. Parag, Prayag, इनके किसी के भी असाइनमेंट मार्क इंटरनल मार्क में हाथ नहीं लगाओगे, प्रॉमिस करो.
Okay, sir.
Promise done. So you have the choice to say no as well. Wonderful. I started my
Right.
career
That's
working for three of the largest oil companies in the world. If you were to look at it from a rocket metaphor, it was like my launch pad where I understood sales and marketing and global businesses. Somewhere in Jan 2005, I did a very stupid mistake. I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The first kida that comes to you when you read the book is that I am done working for others. I want to be my own boss. So I quit my job and I came back to my hometown to become an entrepreneur. I started my first venture. The business was into designing race bikes. The business did wonderfully bad. I failed. I lost around 27 lakh rupees of my hard earned money at the age of 27. In a rocket metaphor, the rocket failed even before it took off. I was back to zero. Anyway, the Kida was a little dangerous. It didn't go off so soon. So I decided to start my next venture, which was into consulting. But then I realized that in India, if you're 28 years old and you don't have grey hair, they will never take you as a consultant. Either you should not have hair or you should have grey hair. You will not be taken seriously as a consultant. That company failed as well. It was almost like we took off and the stage separation in the rocket didn't happen. Anyway, once you become an entrepreneur, you kind of are blind to many realities in life, and that's exactly what happened to me. And I decided to start my third venture, which was India's first workplace financial education company. We were teaching people how to manage money. The business was doing very well. We were on the verge of getting funded by a Bombay based VC firm. We were achieving escape velocity, so to say, in physics terms. And suddenly the 2008 financial crisis happened and my investors pulled out. I was back to square one, literally without a penny in my pocket to buy a cup of tea. Pull, kitna bhi goli maro, you hit him with any bullets and he will keep getting up. And that is what failure does to you as an entrepreneur. First failure, very difficult. Second failure, less difficult. Third failure, vada macha. The message for you, my dear young brothers and sisters, and the other seniors as well, is fail fast. I am not here to motivate that all of us will succeed at all the times. All of us will fail in our initial attempts. Maybe it might be a project failure, maybe it might be a test failure, maybe it might be a small failure, but we will face failures. When you face failures, the faster you face failures, the faster will success come to you. Don't stop yourself from achieving greatness because of the fear of failure. And that's exactly what happened to me. My next three ventures were successes. The fourth one I sold to a partner and exited. The fifth one I sold to an employee and exited. The sixth one was acquired by a larger company out of Mangalore and I exited. It was almost like the spacecraft had docked itself to the International Space Station. For the last 16 years, I have been in orbit, so to say, with this company called Presentum. We are primarily a business storytelling and pitch strategy company. Our job is to work with entrepreneurs from around the world, mostly in the Series A or pre-Series A, which is they're raising between a couple of $1 million to $5-6 million, and help them communicate their ideas better to investors. In the last 16 years, we have worked with 796 startups across domains, across geographies, including one in Antarctica. So I have a customer in every single continent of the world. What I'm going to do, Harini and everyone else, is to see if I can give you my shoulders So each of you deep tech startups can stand on my shoulders, learn from the failures and the successes that I have seen, and jump to the next phase of your life. No gyan, no teaching, just experiences so that each of you can stand up and jump to the next phase. Harini, shall we do the class or no?
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir. Yes, definitely.
What was your promise?
Promise is to, just pay attention, give my heart, soul,
Right.
everything, ears, everything.
100% mentally,
Yes, 3
physically,
hours of
emotionally,
it.
you have to be here, right? Wonderful. So
Definitely.
let's get started. We'll do a small paper-based activity to kickstart our brain. So all of you, if you can grab a paper and pen, that will be great. And those of you, including Sahil, Divya Upadhyay, Himanshu, Debashish, Harsh, Namas, Hiryana, Atreya, please do put your videos on. Don't hide behind a video. Come on. Let's have some fun. Let's see some faces. Let's see your family members walking behind you. Arth, Ravi Kaushik. Hi Ravi. Just yesterday, Ravi, I went to my dentist and your device was fixed on top of the AC. And then in the night, I was going through the decks and I see what you're doing. So wonderful to see that work, Ravi. Great work, and I hope
Thank you.
you do well. The only question I had is your turnover didn't reflect the capability of your company. Maybe sometimes we will talk about it. Yeah. Subha, lovely to see Atreya, Sarika, and everyone. Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Harsh Sethi. Go ahead and draw this on your sheet of paper. Draw this, just the outline. Hey Uttama, good to see your face. Draw the outline, just the outline, nothing more, nothing less. Done? Just the outline. No, don't do the shading. Okay? Super. Can you divide the blue color into two equal similar looking parts? Blue को दो भागों में बांटिए, दोनों समान भागों में बांटिए. Anyone here who doesn't understand Hindi, just put it on chat. You don't need to unmute, but put it on chat if you don't understand Hindi. Yeah. Divide the blue into two equal similar looking parts. Done? Vijay, done? Okay. Is this the answer? Okay, Lakshman. I'll try to keep my conversation primarily to English. Yeah. Right? So, this is how we done. Wonderful. Please divide the green into three equal similar looking parts. Green को तीन में बांटिए, तीनों समान भाग. All the three similar and equal. Done? Ravi? Ravi, अकेले अकेले खाओगे तो पेट दर्द होगा भैया.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is this the answer, Ravi, you got? Wonderful. Hey, Devshri, good to see you now. Divide the red into four equal similar looking parts. Divide the red into four equal similar looking parts. Divide the red into four equal similar looking parts. Bhunesh ji, हो गया? If anyone's done, just raise your hand so I can see. The red into four equal similar looking parts. Soumya, you done it? Yeah, show it to me. Noor Fatma, Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, show the drawing to me. So I know whether it's right or wrong. Noor, you'll have to remove your blur effect. Swati Harrison. Soumya, just look at it. Those two triangles are right angled and two are equilateral. I need all the four to be equal. Noor? You've done the same thing? So those are three squares and one rectangle, Noor. I need all the four to be equal. I need all the four to be equal. Swati, can you just bring it a little more closer? Yeah, Swati, look at it. You have drawn two right angle triangles and two equilateral triangles, Swati. So if you have done these are wrong. This is what Swati and Soumya have done. Two right angle triangles and two equilateral triangles. I need all the four to be equal. If you do this, these two are equal, these two are equal. If you do this, these three are equal and this is different. I need all the four to be equal. What happened? Deep tech entrepreneurs. The best of India, top 100. Okay, because we don't have all day, I will give you the answer, and the answer is tadan 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 tan. 1L, 2L, 3Ls and 4L. You divide an L into 4 equal parts by dividing it into an L. Now please go ahead and divide the yellow into 7 equal similar looking parts. Divide the yellow into 7 equal similar looking parts. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Can I see your hands up in the air? Where I can see the hands. Come on, Noor. Soumya, both hands up in the air. I want to see the hands up. Come on. Go ahead, put your hands up in the air. Yeah, and Prayag, whenever you want, you can take some screenshots. If I were to ask this Devshri question to my nephew who's in grade 5, he would have said, Arey mama, kya sawal poochte ho? How do you divide a square into 7 parts? Twine. So-called deep tech entrepreneurs who are taking India to the 21st century were not able to divide a square into 7 parts. Shame, puppy, shame. You agree? My question to you, my dear brothers and sisters, is why? Why do you think we were not able to do something that a 5th standard student could have done? Go ahead and put it on chat. Assalamu alaikum, Farhan.
I think because we were
Fine.
different.
Yes, no.
We were.
Parag did it. Okay, Parag, okay, good boy. Congratulations, Parag. Okay, yeah, Noor.
So we were trying to basically, after doing these difficult things, the L part was difficult. We were stuck in that mindset that this would also be a something difficult or.
Wonderful. Lakshman says we toggle from an out-of-box solution to an inside-the-box solution. Okay, wonderful. Anyone else?
We try to find complex solution to a simple problem.
Wonderful, Dr. Sethi. Complex solutions for simple problems. We all, and especially if you're a deep tech startup, then it has to be complex. It can't be simple, right? Thought comes from previous assignment, right? The previous one was difficult, so you thought the next one is difficult. Anyone else? Anything else that you want to share before I kind of decode what we learned from this? So there are 3 lessons that we learned from trying to find the geometric, okay? There are 3 lessons that we learned from this simple exercise, okay? These lessons are very important for you to become good at storytelling, but they are more important for you to become better at leadership and entrepreneurship. Lesson number 1, the complex versus simple debate. In our mind, we are constantly debating whether I should be simple or I should be complex. Should I use aloo and potato and tomato examples, or should I use high-tech, space tech kind of examples and words and terminologies? But time and again, history has proven that it is the people who have been simple themselves and people who have made things simpler for others who have ruled the world. As a founder, your job is not to make my life difficult, but to make it simple for me to understand what you do. And when you speak in simple terms, it is in no way a reflection of your technical capabilities. You are strong technically, but I am not. So you have to speak to me in a language that I understand. Lesson number 1, simplicity. As a founder, always communicate in as simple terms as possible. Lesson number 2, the ability to look at things from a 360-degree perspective. Yeah. Take the drawing that you drew and hold it in front of your face. So you can see the drawing, just hold the drawing in front of your face like this. Yep. And now rotate it 90-degree anti-clockwise. 90-degree anti-clockwise. I've done it on the screen for you. Can you see the answer to the third problem in front of you? Ignore the yellow. Yeah? 90% of times the answers to our solution problems are right there in front of us. But because we have got accustomed to seeing life in one single track like a horse with blinds, घोड़े को जैसे लगाम लगाया वैसा हम दुनिया को देखते हैं, and we are not able to see the answers. To be a good founder, you have to look at things from all perspectives. You may be a PhD in biotechnology, but I made my money selling milk. I have no clue even for a word like a petri dish. I don't know what it means. I am thinking ये कौन सा dish है, मैंने तो मेनू में देखा ही नहीं, right? So it is important that we look at all the perspectives before we communicate. And the last lesson is, many of us thought first one difficult, second one little more difficult, third one very difficult. So we assumed fourth one will be more difficult. Uttama, what is the spelling for assume?
ASSUME.
Making an ass out of you and me. When you assume, you are making an ass out of yourself and myself. I spent 27 lakh rupees to learn this lesson. My first business failed because I assumed there was a market for the product I was building. I was building race bikes. I did not go, I did not do any research, did not speak to any potential customers. Just because I thought it was a great idea, I went ahead and started the company. After 9 months, I sold 0 bikes. And this is one of the greatest mistakes most entrepreneurs do. They think what they are building is what the world wants. But maybe the world wants something else. Stop assuming. Find facts. Speak to more people. Speak to people who will pay you money. Don't speak to your friends and parents. They will always tell, "Arey, great man, super product." Then ask them, "Can you pay for it?" अरे यार मेरे को ना वो फोन आ रहा है मैं आता हूँ, right? So speak to people who are going to pay you money. If they are ready to pay you money, then you have a product. What business in technical terms is called product market fit is nothing but are there people ready to pay for what you're doing? That is the proof of pudding. But from a broader perspective, remember 3 lessons. Keep it simple all the time. Communicate in simple terms. The objective is for people to understand it is not to show that you are a double PhD. Number 2, look at things from all the perspectives. When you're communicating, like today I asked, is there anyone who doesn't understand Hindi? If I had done this whole session and gone on giving examples in Hindi, my friend Lakshman would have lost me. I would have been a failure as a teacher even if one of my students did not connect with me because of a language barrier. And number 3, stop assuming. I'll give you one classical example of how assuming could have screwed my life today. So the exercise that you did right now was a success because all of you were on the screen, I could see you, correct? But yesterday and day before yesterday, your call was not on a Zoom call, it was a webinar, which means the speaker never got to see you. If I had assumed that it's going to be a Zoom call with a meeting and I did these exercises and come here, I would have been a failure today because there would be no way for you to show me what you have done. So I actually spoke to Prayag in the morning. I asked that it's in a webinar mode. We need to change it to a meeting mode so people can see me and I can also see people and converse with them, which is nothing but the simple funda of not assuming. So tomorrow when you go to an investor, don't assume there will be a projector. Maybe there may be no projector. They may say just talk like that. So you have to be ready for it. Either be prepared or do preparation. Which means find out where is their office, will the office have a presentation, will the office be open, will it be noisy, all those things you need to do. So with those lessons, let's get into the second part of today's session. By the way, Ravi, तुम इतना खा रहे हो मेरे को जब मैं बॉम्बे आऊंगा ना मेरे को खिलाना पड़ेगा भाई तुमको भूख पेट तो दर्द होने वाला है तुम्हारा हैं ठीक है
फ्रूट्स खा रहा हूँ वैसे
कोई बात नहीं कोई बात जो भी खा रहे हो मेरे को भी दो यार वेर आर यू रवि
दिल्ली सर
दिल्ली में हो ठीक है दिल्ली दूर नहीं ओके
बिल्कुल
the second concept that we are doing is the concept of turning right. What do I mean by this? In 2003, a gentleman called Daniel Pink wrote a very beautiful book. The book is called A Whole New Mind. In the book, he writes that the future belongs to a very different kind of a person. A person who's a storyteller, a person who's a right brain thinker, a person who's a connector. Why did he write this book? So in 2003, something odd was happening in America. That most of their left brain jobs were being exported to cheaper countries like India, Vietnam, Philippines, etc. Right? Left brain jobs are those which, there's A equal to A, B equal to B. 1 equal to 1, 2 equal to 2. There's nothing in the middle, right? So like for example, data entry, left brain job. Medical transcription, left brain job. कि किसी को train कर दो, he or she will be able to do it fast, right? So he said that if America has to survive this drain to the Asia, we need to have 6 right brain senses, which will help us overcome this drain. What he wrote for America in 2003 is now true for all of us in 2010. Oh, sorry, 2025, 26. Ikram, why do you think so? You're on mute, Ikram.
Like repeated things, people of course, people do faster, but some people has to think out of box and come up with the solutions, which like for a
Now my
different
question is, जो 2003 में अमेरिका के लिए सही था, that's true for India now. Why? Yes, sir, Rohit, Kamat.
most
Is it because of advent of AI?
Absolutely. They were losing their jobs to A for Asia, and we are losing our jobs to A for AI. Anything that you as an individual can do, which can be trained to someone, will be done by AI. Your strength as a founder now does not depend on your knowledge of biotechnology. It depends on your right brain skills as to how can you make the connections. How can you empathize? How can you emote? Those are the skills that you're going to be using and going to be dependent on. So what it was true for America is true for us. Hence, let us understand what those 6 right brain sensors are, of which I will take only 4 today because they are relevant for today's session. Number 1, Farhan.
Yes, sir.
Farhan, I show you the chidiya, okay, and then I break it into pieces and I give you the puzzle. Scenario A. Scenario B, I don't show you the chidiya. I just show you the puzzle. In which scenario do you think you will be able to do it faster?
In the first scenario.
Why?
I'll have a prerequisite of what the final destination is.
Wonderful. Which is the first sense that Daniel Pink speaks, symphony and not just focus. When your audience, when the people on the other end of your communication know what's the big picture, then it's easy for them to connect the dots in their mind. But when they have no clue कि finally क्या होगा, they are not able to connect the dots. So when you are talking about your product, start talking by the big picture. What is it that you are doing? The why of it, and then go into the details. Number 2. So in communication, always start with the main point, that because of my startup, this is what will happen to the customer. How will it happen? I am going to talk to you in some time. Always start with the why. As a founder, especially in deep tech, many of you are here. What do I mean by here? Your depth of knowledge is very high. Very, very high. Deep tech, literally. Right? But the investor wants this view. Because then only he is able to understand this whole thing. When you take him here, he has no clue what is there on the top. So always speak from a 30,000 feet view whenever you are communicating. Not only for investments. Okay. Lesson number 2. Sarika ji, आप कहाँ से हैं?
जयपुर
जयपुर, बढ़िया. परसों आ रहा हूं मैं वहां पर. नहीं, परसों नहीं, 21 तारीख को. सो सारिका, आप एक जर्नी में हैं, ठीक है, जयपुर से श्री गंगानगर जा रहे हैं बस में, ठीक है, खिड़की पे बैठे हैं, एंड ऑन द विंडो दिस इज द सीनरी दैट यू सी. फॉर 4 hours, पत्थर पत्थर पत्थर, रॉक 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 रॉक, नथिंग एल्स. हाउ विल योर जर्नी बी? बोरिंग, राइट? जर्नी विल बी बोरिंग, ठीक है. ओके, सौम्या.
Yes, sir.
Soumya, you're on a bus and on the window, and 4-hour journey same way, and this is the scenery that you're seeing. Sunrise, sunset, and seas and oceans and everything. How will your journey be?
Interesting.
Very good. Devshri, can you ask Sarika how her journey was?
monotonous.
Yes, Sarika ma'am, how was your journey?
It was quite and very similar kind of experiential.
Okay, boring. Ask Soumya how was her journey.
Soumya, how was your journey? Mine was really good because scenery was really good. So
Okay.
it was interesting.
Okay. Now poor Devshri is confused. You know why? Because both of them are sitting in the same bus. Now Devshri is thinking कि यार या तो सौम्या झूठ बोल रही है और सारिका is telling a lie. Because if she agrees, Devshri, you're frozen or you there? Devshi looks like she's frozen with the answers, literally, right? Okay. So if Soumya is telling the truth, Sarika is telling a lie. If Sarika is telling a lie, so if Sarika is telling the truth, Soumya is telling a lie. And this is exactly what happens in our real life, is we look at the world from one person's perspective and we decide that's how the world is. But kabhi you have to see the world from Sarika's eyes and also from Soumya's eyes, which is what Daniel Pink spoke about as empathy and not just logic. By logic, Devshri should say कि one of them is lying, correct? एक तो झूठ बोल रहा है कोई, तो ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है एक ही जर्नी में एक आदमी बोर हो और एक आदमी को मजा है. Many a times we all use logic, but we forget to put ourselves in the shoes of the other person. As a deep tech founder, especially, like I said, because you know your domain, you may see things in a very different way to the way I would see because I don't know your domain. So put yourself in the feet of your audience. From a very tactical perspective, the reason I forced my friend Prayag to make this into a meeting rather than a webinar is I empathize with my audience. For 3 hours, if people are going to be looking at one guy speaking with no interaction, trust me, in 1.5 hours, even if I am the greatest speaker in the world, I will lose all of you. So you have to empathize with people. Number 3, so in communication, you empathize, understand the audience needs, their feelings, their limitations, and all that stuff, right? Okay, let's say, who shall we go to? Okay, Parag.
Yeah.
Parag, hemoglobin is 11.2, LDL is 165, triglycerides are 210, vitamin D 14, D is 14. What will you do after you see this?
I will go to my friend who is a doctor.
Why?
Or I will, do some AI kind of thing.
Why but?
Just to reconfirm myself whether the report is okay or not.
Right. So, looking at this report, Parag has no clue what to do, correct? Because these numbers, they look fancy, but what do they mean for Parag? Nothing. What if I tell the patient that, sir, because of these numbers, it looks like that you are at a high risk for heart disease. Please go ahead and start exercising. Start taking these medicines so your LDL can keep down. Which is the third sense that Daniel Pink spoke, meaning and not just facts. The first one was facts, but the person reading the facts has no clue, say karna kya hai. Second one was meaning. Meaning, the definition of meaning is nothing but isme mera kya hai, idle yanak enna, what is in it for me, ह्यामध्ये मलासाठी काय आहेत, what's in it for me. When you communicate, your objective is to communicate the answer to what's in it for me for your audience. You may be a triple PhD, you may be from the IITs, you may be a gold medalist. Mera kya? Sir, the invention that I have done will eradicate cervical cancer in India, so you invest in it and you can become a billionaire in 2 years. Then that person will be keen on understanding what you're doing. Otherwise, there is nothing in him or her. So in communication, empathy comes from putting the stakeholder lens. If you're speaking to a customer, what makes meaning for the customer? So your customer's sales deck cannot be the same deck you use for your investment. I see many people doing the same thing, right? What you tell your customers are not going to add any value to the investor, and vice versa. Your company's introduction document that you show your employees cannot be shown to an investor, because the what's in it for me are very, very different. Let's now do one small activity, okay? I'll give all of you 1 minute. You have to design an alarm clock. It has to be the world's most innovative alarm clock, and it should wake up that person at 5 o'clock. Okay? There's a person who needs to be woken up at 5 o'clock. You have to design an alarm clock which is not like any of the normal alarm clocks we see. Go ahead. Ronak seems to be like a gaming person because of the chair. Yeah, Ronak? Ronak says train a cat. To do what? To wake him up at 5 o'clock, is that? Okay. But what if the cat dies, bro? Go ahead. Take a minute. All of you think. How can you make it innovative? New cat. Yeah, if I am going to fund your company, then I am going to think twice. Okay. So, do we have some answer? Yeah, Lakshman, go ahead. Tell me, how is your alarm clock going to be innovative?
It's very simple. So I need to wake up this person at 5 a.m. So I develop an app where I ask him to set what time he wants me to wake up. For example, 5 o'clock. And he keeps the phone to his side when he goes to sleep. I track
Okay.
his sleep cycle.
Okay, let's pause. I clearly told you 5 o'clock has to be woken up. So why are you now asking that person and complicating the whole thing? Okay,
Yeah,
anyone
it's
else?
an alarm.
Yeah, done. Don't worry. It's okay. It's just a activity. Don't worry. Relax. Dr. Sethi, आप बताइए आपका alarm clock. What is the reason of using a new alarm if I already have a better in my phone? Okay, Himanshu, right? Nice to ask these kind of quirky questions. Yeah, Dr. Sethi, you don't have an alarm clock? Anyone else has an alarm clock? Just raise your hand so I can pick you up.
I have a alarm clock in my phone. I have a digital watch
No,
as well.
I am a customer and I am coming to you and telling you that boss, I am giving you 1 lakh. Please design an innovative alarm clock. So don't tell me that you have a phone. Yes, Ikram, boliye.
I'll give you a simple patch.
Patch.
It's like, okay, there's a hormone which regulates the sleep. Perfectly
Okay.
5 o'clock, I'll just kill that for a short
Okay.
period of time. You would have no option to sleep.
Okay. See, you are all speaking like scientists already. Phone controlled water sprinkler attached to bed. Majumdar. Yes. Okay. Okay.
I'll just
All
set
your alarm
alarm.
clocks. Yeah. I'm sorry. Who's that?
Vijay here.
Vijay.
Yeah, I'll just set an alarm clock in my mobile phone.
You'll say no. But I am saying there is a specific need. आपको एक customer ने order दिया, आप थोड़ा ना बोलोगे मैं अपने खुद के phone पे लगाऊंगा, right? All your alarm clocks have failed. You know why? Yes, Sanidhya, बोलिए.
Can I pitch in? So just thinking randomly, I'll build something called as an artificial sunrise. So
Artificial sunrise.
4:30
Okay.
to 5 a.m. the light gradually keeps on increasing.
ठीक है, done. Uttama.
So I was thinking that there are 9 strips and there are 3 clock hands. So that makes 5. One can be at the hour hand, minute hand, and second hand, and then there are 9 strips.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Pradeep, I will remove the snooze feature and add a feature whereby at 5:01 your neighbors will wake up.
Right. Absolutely, Ravi. All of you failed in building the alarm clock because you never asked who the customer was. Why does he need this alarm clock? What is his background? What is the purpose? He was the Swamiji. अभी स्वामी जी के ऊपर पानी डालोगे तो मजुमदार जी पाप लगेगा. You can't make Swamiji run around, right? And what did you do? In your eagerness to solve the problem, you were complicating it, right? You were not empathizing. You remember the lessons that we learned? Simple versus complex. Complex बनाओ, ये लगाओ, वो feature लगाओ. किसने पूछा यार? Right? The point I am trying to tell you is, some of these lessons that we just learned, we do them so much because of our muscle memory. So what I am teaching you today, you have to consciously unlearn. In 1 minute, after having taught, I give you an exercise and you fail. No empathy for the person who needs the clock. And then you're not even asking why he needs the clock. You're saying, I have a clock in my phone. But the clock was for him. Right? Or the alarm was for him. Right? The point is, unlearn. And we'll come to the last and the most important sense. So let's ask Ronak. Okay, Ronak. Yeah. Ronak, the queen died and the king died. That's all. Did you feel anything?
I felt that
Nothing.
you were going to ask a question. That's more of a
right.
coming
But
out.
did you feel anything emotionally? Nothing, right? Okay, Ronak, what if I tell you that the queen died and the king became like Devdas and died, heartbroken?
Mm-hmm.
Now what happened to you, Ronak? Did you imagine one guy with dadi and roaming around the streets, drunk, "Arey meri rani mar gayi" kinds? Right?
I know it's a Devdas.
Yeah, Devdas. You saw Devdas and Shah Rukh Khan and all that stuff, right? What happened, Ronak? The first one was a fact, second one was a fact. What was the fact? King died. Both cases they died, correct? But the second one made Ronak think a little bit more. Why? Because facts tell and stories sell. Your job as a founder is not to give me the facts. Your job is to give me the narrative behind it so that I am able to understand what this does for me, for my life. Today, facts are available online, and with the advent of AI, I don't even have to work hard. In an instant, I can make it do research, I can make it do everything that I would have struggled for months. So, your edge as a founder is not going to be in giving facts. Your edge as a founder is in going to be giving stories. The power of narratives. I want to give a small disclaimer here is this. Storytelling in business is not telling stories. It means using the power and the elements of stories in your communication. Many people come to me and say, sir, मैं pitch deck बनाया, I told a story in the starting, but investor told stop the bullshit and come to the point. Because you were telling a story. Whereas storytelling in business is a very different context, and that is what we will now understand. Okay? Story and not just information. That is what people want. For example, rather than saying that the PCR machines were not working, I say in a village we went, the PCR machine was still in its carton, not broken, just unused. Why? Because no one had been trained. So the government has spent money on giving equipment, but someone forgot to train them. And those machines are lying there. Now can you see it? You can imagine the box lying there. You can imagine how that money is being wasted because it was given in the form of a story. I could have just made one statement. Government resources are being wasted. Period. No feeling, right? That is the power of story. तो तुमने अभी सरकार का नमक खाया है, अब तुम सरकार का स्टोरी खाओ, as my friend Gabbar would say. Okay, let's do Vishwas from Scanext. Hey Vishwas, how are you? What's on top of your head, buddy? Or are you like upside down?
Yeah, currently, sir, I'm traveling.
Acha, okay, there's something on the top. You're on a bus. Okay, I was thinking like you're standing upside down doing some yoga and, right? See, this is the fun of having video calls on Zoom, right? It's so nice to see people. Okay, Noor, आप बताओ, ठीक है? Noor, 2 limbs was on 3 limbs having 1 limb. 4 limbs came, snatched 1 limb from 2 limbs and ran away. 2 limbs took 3 limbs, hit 4 limbs and got 1 limb back. Repeat.
No, I was lost in 1, 2, 3, 4 limbs.
You are lost in 1, 2, 3. Okay. अब इसको थोड़ा बदलते हैं. नूर, आप कहाँ से हो?
I am from Delhi.
दिल्ली, ठीक है. 2 पैर वाली नूर 3 पैर वाली कुर्सी पे बैठी है और 1 पैर वाला लेग पीस खा रही है. 4 पैर वाला कुत्ता आया, लेग पीस छीन के भाग गया. नूर ने स्टूल उठाया, कुत्ते को मारा, लेग पीस वापस ले लिया. नाउ रिपीट.
2 पैर की नूर 4 पैर की कुर्सी पे बैठी है और
3 पैर की कुर्सी पे, 3 पैर की कुर्सी पे, ठीक है.
बैठी है और 1 लेग पीस खा रही है 4 पैर का.
Right. Okay. So how did you remember it? No, it was the same thing I said. Limb equal to leg, right? I said the same thing.
No, now that I can visualize, huh?
Absolutely. Stories make it easier for the listener to understand you and your ideas and your product.
Right.
And also the biggest advantage of stories is they are transmitted virally. They get amplified. Even after 10 days, Noor can go and repeat the same thing to her family. But the first one, so when you communicate to your investors, that investor may not fund you. You want that person to go and say, hey, you know what, I met this girl, Noor or Noor Jahan something. She said something very interesting. I think your fund portfolio might be the right fund for her. I think you should talk to her. When do we equip our investors, our stakeholders to communicate our message to other people? When we give it in the form of a story. When we give it in the form of a fact, a statement, a technical line, they will never remember it. And that's why we need story. And that's why we need to ask ourselves कि क्या आपके pitch deck में story है? What are the components or the building blocks of a good story is what we are going to understand in the next 10 minutes. And I am going to give you a promise, a money back guarantee that in the next 10 minutes, I am going to teach you a formula by which each of you can become 10x better at storytelling than you are right now. Okay? Super. Number one, stories are always simple. What does it mean? It means there is only one single message you can take from them and anyone can understand them. Right? For example, let's ask, who can we ask this question? Anish.
Yes. Yes, sir.
9.18 meters per second square.
Yeah.
What is it? Wait, Rohit, wait. Anish doesn't remember. Okay, Anish, do you remember a guy sitting below an apple tree having an apple and the apple falling on his head?
Yes.
Who was
Gravity.
he? Ah, and I always wish it should have been a jackfruit that fell on him. साला physics में subject ही नहीं होता था अपने को, right? But anyway, why does Anish remember that after 22 years of being in school? Because your teacher taught it in a simple way using Newton and the apple tree. If your teacher had come and told you, Anish, remember 9.18 meters per second square, he would have never remembered it. Your teacher gave it to you in the form of a short story of Newton. Stories are always simple. Number two, stories are always concrete, which means when I close my eyes and I listen to you, I am able to make an image. When I said 9.81 meters per second square, did you see anything? Nothing. But the moment I said an apple tree, you were able to imagine an apple tree, a guy sitting below it. Maybe instead of a red apple, a green apple fell on his head. But for each of us, we could see something. Most scientific communication is abstract. But the brain over the last 200,000 years has evolved as a muscle that only understands concreteness. Noor was not able to remember one limb, two limb, three limb because nothing came in her mind. But the moment I said do pair wali Noor, teen pair wali kursi, she was imagining herself. She could see what I was telling. When you as a founder Ravi speak to your investors, if they can't see what you're saying, they will not understand what you're saying. People have to see it. Number three, stories always have something unexpected. Okay? Let's ask this question to Parth. Parth, who's your best friend, Parth?
Yes, his name is Abhimanyu, sir.
Abhimanyu, ठीक है. Who's your favorite heroine?
Yeah, that's something I have not heard about for a very long time, but my wife probably.
अरे यार ये सब डायलॉग नहीं मानेगा. Movie actress. Who's your favorite movie actress?
Let's go with Alia, let's say.
Let's go with Alia. अरे वाह, ऐसे आलिया हमारी बाजू वाली लड़की है. चलता है. Let's go with Alia. Yeah, let's go with Alia. ठीक है. So Abhimanyu, Parth, you go to watch a movie. Okay. Alia Bhatt is the heroine in this. She born. She goes to school, topper in school. Goes to college, topper in college. Gets employed in high-end technologies. Best employee of the year. And then she gets retired. Movie over.
What?
That's all.
What was this?
Movie over. Will you pay for this movie?
No,
You will not. Okay. Now my friend Devshri says, अरे तुमको क्या पिक्चर बनाना आता है? तुम मद्रास लोगों को नहीं बनाता, मैं बनाती हूँ पिक्चर. So उसमें भी आलिया भट्ट हीरोइन. She is born, goes to school topper, goes to college topper. On the day she is graduating, she runs away with Abhimanyu.
Oh.
Now what happens? Now Parth is thinking, what happened to my AB? Will my AB come back to me or no? AB baby, come back. The movie becomes exciting when something unexpected happens.
True.
The brain likes unexpected stuff. It doesn't like predictability. Think of an investor for whom 100 pitch decks are coming in a day. If there is something unexpected in a deck, they may have the possibility to call you. I'm not saying will call. May. Today when I started, I put on some music. It was unexpected. You were imagining this guy to talk about pitch decks and blah blah blah, and suddenly he puts some music and says, "Okay, go silent and take a sleep off." You were jerked to attention because of something unexpected that I did. Today's world is a world that is deficient of attention. the easiest way to grab attention is to break a pattern by doing the unexpected. Stories are always credible. Why do so many people fall for digital arrest? Oh, because that guy called, he was in a police uniform, and behind him the photo of Mahatma Gandhi and the Ashoka Chakra was there, and he said, I have sent some parcel to Thailand and it is stuck and all that stuff. Why do people believe all these things? Because of the power of the narrative. If that guy says, I am from CBI, please give money. Maybe no. But the story is what makes people believe that. Stories build in credibility. Stories always bring in emotions. Why? Because unlike what we think, that we always take decisions logically, the human brain always decides emotionally and then justifies it logically. Even the simplest of tasks, like choosing which ice cream to eat, is an emotional decision, not a logical decision. And then we justify that by logic. Stories have the power to bring in emotions. Let me give you one example so you understand this. I think one of you is doing cervical cancer testing, one of the teams I saw. 70,200 Indian women die every year of cervical cancer. 70,200 Indian women. The only cancer that has a vaccine, the most easily detectable cancer. Did you all feel bad? Right? 70,200 women dying. But does anyone feel so bad that you want to stop your current startup and go and do something for cervical cancer? Maybe, maybe not. What if I tell you that I had a friend, her name was Rekha. At the age of 36, Rekha succumbed to cervical cancer. And we wondered, what if Rekha could have survived? What if she could have done cervical cancer testing? Like Rekha, every 8 minutes, one Indian woman dies of cervical cancer. The only cancer that has a vaccine, the most easily detectable cancer. Now do you feel a little more worse? If you are good at mathematics, unlike me, you will know that 60 divided by 8 multiplied by 24 hours in a day multiplied by 365 days in a year is equal to 70,200. I gave you the same numbers both the times. So why did you change suddenly? Because the second time you saw Rekha, you saw my friend, and you were connected to her emotionally indirectly. You are able to see all the women. 70,200, you can't see those women. It's a big number, but you can't see them. But you can see one Rekha. So when you speak, can you bring in emotions into the conversation? Stories are a great way to bring in emotion. And finally, stories always have a structure. For example, in our friend Parth's story, Parth is like imagining, Alia is going to school, topper, blah blah blah. Suddenly, villain comes in, Abhimanyu, and takes Alia and runs away. Then Parth goes and fights Abhimanyu and saves Alia, and they happily lived ever after. If I were to draw this like a scientific graph, normal life till Alia is graduating from college, suddenly something abnormal happens, Parth and Abhimanyu fight, Abhimanyu wins, Alia and Abhimanyu lived happily ever. Parth and not Abhimanyu. Parth and Alia lived happily ever after. Every story has this structure. There's a normal life. There's something unexpected that happens, abnormal. The hero comes to solve the abnormal. The story revolves around solving the abnormal, and then happily ever after. And if you look at it, this line and this line are not equal. Why? Because now, because of the struggle, you have some new learnings. You are better off than when you started. In real life, this is nothing but the journey of your customer. Your customer's factory is running normally. Let's take Ravi Kaushik's example. Your customer is using the air conditioner normally. But then one day suddenly the customer's friend gets detected with lung cancer. And you're wondering, what is it that happened? Dust was the villain. And how does earth help the customer fight the villain in terms of dust is the story. But the key thing here is, who is the hero? Priya, who's the hero, Priya? Priya just came on screen, so I'm going to catch hold of her. Priya Kumari.
Hi, sir. I just
Hi.
joined. I'm sorry, I missed.
अच्छा यू मिस्ड ठीक है कोई बात नहीं चलो माफ कर दिया
I'm so
तुमको
sorry. I just have
ठीक
joined.
नहीं नहीं कोई बात रवि आप बताओ who's the villain
Always custom. No, villain is the problem,
right
and hero
who's
is
the hero
always the customer.
absolutely many times we all make the mistake of thinking we are the hero or our product is the hero our company is the hero no the customer is the hero or the person who has the problem is the hero you are the mentor who helps the hero achieve his or her goals. This perspective is very, very important because when you go thinking you are the hero, you are trying to show off what you can do. Whereas when you go with the perspective of helping the customer overcome the villain, then you talk in that language. And stories, if you look at it, are a very good way to see the graph. You take any movie in the world, any story, Mahabharata, normal life, rich kings, suddenly one day they lose everything to gambling. Then they go out, they struggle, then come back, fight the war, happily ever after. Now, let's come to the formula. I put everything that we spoke here. What do I need to grab attention? I need to do the unexpected. Once I have done the unexpected, I realize that in my investor panel, there are different kinds of people. Someone from biotech, someone from space tech, someone from edtech. How do I make everyone understand? By making it simple. Once I have made it simple, how do I explain it to them? Because these are technical terms. By making it concrete, so they can see some image. So distillation is almost like how your filter coffee is made. That is the same process. Now he can see distillation. Otherwise, he doesn't understand petrochemical distillation at all. Once I have explained, how do I make it believable? By bringing in credibility of references. If Devshi says that she is a good person, I will not believe. But if Ikram comes and says Devshi is a good person, he may be her friend, but still I will believe. So bring in third person references. Bring in customers who are paid for you. Those build credibility. Then what do I want? I want it to be meaningful. In Ravi's case, that person having lung cancer is the emotional connect. Right? If Ravi goes and says, I will make your room dirt free, no one is going to care about. इतने दिन से ऐसे ही जिला है. Like now when you're connecting it to an emotional point, people are moved. And finally, people will take an action when I put it in the form of a story. Now the magic moment is here. Let me put all of these things together. This is what is left. Blah, 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 blah. I remove everything except the first alphabet. Blah, 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 blah. Can you see a pattern, my dear brothers and sisters? What is the pattern? Harini? Devshri? Yes, sir. Yes, go ahead. Who was that?
Success, Devasis.
Absolutely. The formula for becoming better at storytelling is SUCCES. The next time you make a PowerPoint, the next time you make a report, the next time you make an MSDS, the next time you make a website, the next time you build an app, the next time you talk to someone, the next time you write a speech, ask yourself, is it simple enough that even a 5-year-old can understand? Is there something unexpected? There are 30 people before me who pitched. Is there something unexpected in what I'm pitching? Is there something emotional? What is emotion? Fear is an emotion. Sir, if we don't do this, in 10 years, Bombay will be underwater. Fear. Greed is an emotion. What you see on the fish tank cereal. I will not take the cereal name. I'm on record, so I may get sued. The fish tank cereal, what do you see? It is greed. Which other investor is going to sign a check instantly after listening to a pitch? No one does that. It's a reflection of greed. Happiness is an emotion. So can you bring in that emotion to someone? Is it concrete enough that people are able to see what you're seeing? Is there some credibility in what you're saying? And finally, have you packaged it in the form of a story? SUCCES. The simple, easy formula to become better at storytelling. When you start off, you may not be able to do the unexpected. You may not put a song like me. That's okay. You can go to the pitch and say, good morning, investors.
Voice is.
Sir, you are not audible.
Voice is not audible, huh? So think of it, my dear investors, for 30 seconds when you are not able to hear me, you were so frustrated. Now think of a child who can't hear from childhood. That is the problem we are solving, the problem of hearing, and we are building the world's first non-surgical hearing aid. You can do the unexpected. You can always do that. So with that, my clock says 15:38. Let's take a 7-minute break. We will be back after a bio break, tea break, whatever break you want to do. Go call your mother, papa, mama, whatever, and come back in 7 minutes.
Just for one information attendees, I am presenting my screen and I will share the QR code. You can just scan QR code for the attendance with your registered mail IDs.
इधर भी अटेंडेंस लेते हो क्या है यार ये हैं? ये तो स्कूल की जैसे इधर तो बच के आया यार, स्कूल से बच के आया अटेंडेंस के कारण वापस तुम अटेंडेंस ले रहे हो. व्हाट इज दिस? Anyway, you're doing your job. Done. So 7 minutes. Take a break.
The QR is on the screen.
Awesome. Welcome back. Awesome. Welcome back, and let's get started with the second part. Super. Parth, just give me a thumbs up if you're able to see my screen. Yeah. Dr. Nayak, you were missing in the video earlier. No, I can see you.
Yeah, I kept it on. Thank you.
Now I can ask you questions like the professor. Super. So let's go with Debashish. Debashish,
Yes.
any guess what this document is on the screen?
It looks like a research publication bound
Research
in.
publication.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else wants to take a guess?
An analytical.
Pitch deck.
Whose pitch deck? So these are nothing but the pitch decks of the 110 companies who are there in this cohort, which is like a 1,700 page document. I went through all the slides, and based on my going through all the slides, because that was my entertainment while flying from Hyderabad to Coimbatore and Coimbatore to Hyderabad, I found some common issues with the pitch decks. Okay, I will run through them fast. So right now I'm playing the role of a doctor. I'm giving you the diagnosis. Then I will give you the medicine. Okay, so major storytelling issues that I saw in these pitches is one. Many of them. Hold a second. There's an audio in my room that's echoing. Hey guys, close the door. Close the door. I'm able to hear myself. Yeah, sorry for that. So there's a lot of information in the initial slides which are not going to attract someone to watch the movie. Let's say Parth goes to watch Alia's movie, and the first 10 minutes, director name, cameraman name, this name, that name, what will happen to Parth? He'll get bored. Yeah, this has no relevance. First scene, Abhimanyu running with Alia. What happens? Parth is now wanting to see the movie, right? So I feel there's a narrative hook missing in many of the slides. So instead of putting your company name, incorporated, founders, vision, blah, 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 what you can actually do is the why of your company. Every year, 3 lakh women die from cervical cancer in India because screening is painful, inaccessible, and embarrassing. And the key point here is the word embarrassing. Suddenly people are thinking, okay, I can understand it's painful, whatever, but why embarrassing? Okay, we'll come to that. Number 2, many of you are talking about the vision before the problem. As an investor, I want the solution first before I want to see what your vision is. Enable affordable screening. Why? Only when I know there's a problem, only when I know that Abhimanyu is the villain, will there be any role for Parth as the hero. You have to paint the villain before you go into the vision. And please don't copy from my slides, okay? These are all copyrighted items. I'll give you my entire PowerPoint like that to you in the evening. So don't bother copying anything from the slides. Don't waste your time. Yeah. Number 3, technology first storytelling, and which seems to be the bane of deep tech entrepreneurs, because you are so deep in technology that you forget that other people don't know what you know. So rather than saying we developed X technology using Y approach, say we solved Z by using X. I want to know what are you solving and not the how you are solving. Number 4, at the end of the day, whether you are a deep tech, not a deep tech, whether you are a B2B, B2B, B2C, B2C, it doesn't matter. There's always a human being at the end who is going to be benefited by what you do. I might be a satellite company which is cleaning space debris. Who is the person affected? Sir, the chairman of ISRO never gets to sleep peacefully because he worried that debris might hit the satellites and they may have to do a big reconnaissance. So there's always going to be a human person. So there are patients, doctors, users, the operational pain that you see. Investors fund impact and adoption and not science. Investors are not people who are like the university. University will grant funds for science. Investors want impact and adoption. No dramatic tension showing conflict. If there is no conflict, people are not going to be excited about the solution. The new solution will only look good because you said that the old solution is so bad. The new product which is probably a little expensive is only good because the other solutions are too high. The new process is only good because the other process used to take 10 days, the new process takes 1 day. Otherwise, if I tell you our Indigo on time arrival 92%, what will you say? अरे ये क्या flight है 92% है, मतलब 8% of the times they are late. Then I tell you that the industry standard is 62%. Now Indigo looks like a god because you are now comparing it with something else and giving contrast. So rather than going from problem to solution directly, go from problem to failed alternatives. Who are all the other villains who try to solve? Who are all the other Abhimanyus who try to run away with Alia? And what is the breakthrough that you had? Poor Parth. Buddy, I'm going to send this video to your wife, okay? Okay. Don't show data as a proof, but show story as the proof. What do I mean that? Rather than showing accuracy and test results and publications, say that we tested this in 4 hospitals and this reduced diagnosis by 60%. Now the data has a bigger meaning. Number 7, I know some of the slides were also 5 slides because I think you had some input where you had to have it. But still, many a times I invest in the story of the founder. Why did you want to solve this problem? Why are you a man trying to solve a cervical cancer problem? Sir, because I had a friend who lost her life and that day I said, I will not let any other friend die of a disease that I could probably find a solution for. Now as an investor, I will be more confident putting my money in you rather than if you tell me, sir, I was sitting in my room having a beer bottle and I got this idea. There is no context. So your degrees don't matter, your institutions don't matter. What really matters is while I was working in the oncology ward of KME hospital, I saw 30% of the patients arrive too late. That's when I realized there was a problem with our data center. So I said, let me solve this. Show the journey. Everyone was directly problem solution. But what is the journey? What was the past? Why was the past bad? What is the present? What has changed in the present? And based on this, how is the future going to be? Number 9, a weak market story. Many of you are only talking about TAM, SAM and SOM. $30 billion market, $20 billion market, $5 million. There is no story in it. What I want to know is what is the adoption journey going to be? Who will be your first customer? How will that person be? What will be his persona or her persona? And why is now the right time that they're going to buy this? Himanshu, I am not sure about the recording, but yeah, I will be sending you my deck for sure. So that I know. Prayag may be able to answer whether you will get the recording. Prayag, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so someone called Himanshu Nath has asked a question saying, so if you can just reply there, respond. Yep. And number 10, the solution is not emotionally satisfying. There has to be an emotional connect. Yay! Devices uses nanoparticle sensing. So what? If there is no answer to so what, you have to go back to your drawing board and write. The impact I see is buried under data. There is so much information. Improve sensitivity by 12%. No. The impact is that it detects cancer 3 years earlier. Even before cancer can think of coming, sir, it will detect it. It's like your mother who can detect the guests who are going to come in the evening and walks away for shopping saying, "Hum ghar pe nahi hai." And no memorable takeaway for the investor. Soumya and Devshri are imagining their mothers, right? Our mothers have that sense, no? कि आज कोई तो घर पे आने वाला है, चलो हम लोग सब छुट्टी पे निकल जाते हैं. If after your pitch, the investor has to remember one line, what is that one line? Do you have that line? This company is the fastest way to detect cervical cancer in rural clinics. Is that the message he's taking away? Or he's saying, I don't know, yaar, they said something very technical, I don't know what I remember. The second challenge I saw when I went through all those decks is that many of us are taking refuge in complexity. Because complexity is a good shield, simplicity is a little difficult. Right? Like I think Lincoln, I think it was Abraham Lincoln who wrote that I am sorry I am writing you a 20-page letter instead of a 1 page because I do not have time. Right? Simplifying things takes time. It's difficult. It's not easy. And hence many of us hide behind complexity. Many of us are ending up explaining the how rather than the why. Scientists explain mechanisms. Investors want value. So when you are making a pitch deck, forget that you are a scientist. Think of yourself as a customer. Will you pay for this? Number two, there's a jargon overload. This type of compressor, that type of analysis, this type of blood cells, and that type of blood cells. I have no clue. Nano, theranostics, biosensing, molecular pathways. I saw all these words. I have no clue what they mean. There is no layer as explain if I am 5. What that does mean? Can you give me a simple analogy? And then give me a conceptual explanation and then a technical detail. I will explain how that works. Right now I am telling you only the problems. Okay, don't worry. Missing analogies. Because you are in that business, some terms may be okay for you. So rather than saying nanofluidic detection, you could say it is like a pregnancy test strip for cancer markers. People know what a pregnancy test kit is. Same way for cancer, this test kit will work. It's so easy when you use metaphors and analogies. Before after comparisons, you are only telling me the after, but what about the before? Then I feel, this is very important. 92%, yeah, it's important. Old test used to take 3 days, our test takes only 20 minutes. Then I will feel more excited about your test. Data without any benchmark. We have achieved 94% sensitivity. Against what? Who are you comparing yourself with? That's very, very important. Research results without commercial implication. Please understand, a pitch deck is not your PhD Viva deck. It is a document where you're trying to sell me the idea of a business where I will make money. I want to know how will I make money. Our research paper was published in Nature Biomedical Engineering. So what? I saw many of you have put your degrees and your awards and this and that. As an investor, I don't care. In fact, I would be more worried if someone is getting too many awards, because that person is spending so much time trying to get those awards and not focusing on the business. I will not fund that company. Investors want to know how this reduces diagnostic hospital costs. Unclear productization. You have achieved everything in the lab, but now you have to help me translate that into real business, into a product. And you only have to do it. Or you are one of those scientists who's ready to give your technology to someone else and let them commercialize. That is also okay. But you have to make the decision. If you want to be a founder and you want to run a company, then you also have to start thinking like a businesswoman or a businessman. You can't tell me that I am a scientist, I am a grade A scientist in the government of India, Department of Science and Technology. I don't know how to do cost calculation. Then don't do business. But if you want to do business, an investor expects you to be clear on all these things. A very critical thing I saw missing in many of the medtech and biotech pitch decks was the regulatory pathway. How are you going to get approvals? That's a very, very important thing, because investors who invest in medical startups know that the gestation period is very, very long. So unless until you are clear and you tell me what the regulatory pathway is, I may not believe you. How are you going to scale? Many of you are focusing on your innovation, but making one cup of tea get hot by sunrise is not relevant. Can you make 10,000 cups? What is the technology for that? That is what I want to know. Validation. Who proves that you are credible? I don't want to say that my labs gave me these reports. Even if you do 100 lab reports and say you got 92%, I am not happy. But if you tell me one hospital paid me 10 rupees to test my product, I am ready to believe you. Because then it starts getting into commercial and business. And finally, one of the common things I saw missing was unit economics. Do not try to avoid cost per unit. You may be at the early stage. Still, you have to start thinking of 5 years down the line. How much will this cost? What will the manufacturing cost be? How will I get my margins? Those are very, very important. Like I said, many of us need to make the transition from scientist, technical person to business person. So how do we make that transition mentally? It is up to you. But how do you communicate that transmission? I can teach you. And that is what we are going to do now in the next 45 minutes. We are going to understand how we convert science to a story by using all that we learned in success. Okay? Number one, the so what ladder. Let's say you write something. Immediately ask yourself, so what? till you come to a stage where there can be no more so whats, that the other person is satisfied. And who is the person asking the so what? It's not you, because if you ask the so what, then you're going to be answering technical only. So put yourself in the shoes of an investor, of a customer, of a buyer, and then ask these questions. For example, new catalyst captures carbon dioxide. So what? Carbon capture becomes cheaper. So what? Factories reduce emissions. So what? Industries meet climate regulations. So what? Massive global decarbonization market. We can make a lot of money, sir. Come home. Let's speak. I will buy tea and vada pav for you. So keep asking a so what till you feel that the investor can no further ask a so what. Can you show there's a massive healthcare market if you're in a health tech? The pitch must end at the business level impact. That is the so what. The so what to the previous slide is that there's a massive market. The second tool, right? And maybe you can keep noting down points as you listen to me, but don't copy what's there on the slide. I am sending you the slide, so don't worry. This is called as the analogy bridge. Okay? It is basically the fact that the human brain is always trying to make patterns to recognize what's happening around it. For example, when you look at stars, you don't just look at random stars. You look at shapes. And that's how we found all those, what do you call them? Constellations? No, constellations, right? Right? So, areas and all that stuff. Because the brain is always trying to make patterns. So the easiest way to help people understand is by helping them make new patterns by connecting to old patterns. That is what an analogy means. For example, rather than saying I am a satellite constellation routing, I say I am like the GPS for data. Now people know, akha, acha. AI pathology analysis. Sir, an autopilot for doctors. They don't have to do the pathology now. Genomic screening is what? Nothing but Google search for DNA. Orbital debris tracking, it's like air control for the space. Satellite edge computing is nothing but data centers in orbit. People are able to see data center. You know what is the success element here? Concreteness. It's so easy. Otherwise, when I say genomic screening, there is nothing that comes to your mind. But when I say Google search for DNA, you can see Google and Google is searching for someone's DNA. That is the power of the analogy. Second way of making science into a story. The third way is what we call as the 3-level explanation. There should be 3 layers. Layer 1 is a single sentence which can be explained to even a 5-year-old. This is called as the investor explanation. Autonomous robots that reduce pesticide use by 80%. Right? People know what you are talking about. There's an autonomous robot, which means it runs automatically. What does it do? It helps reduce pesticide. Then second comes the workflow explanation, where you are explaining the product. Robots move through crop rows, they detect weeds and they keep spraying only the affected plants. Till now, have I brought any signs in? 0 signs. The final layer is where your scientist comes in. Computer vision identifies weed species and robotic arms spray, micro spray herbicides. If the first line is not clear and you start with this, most of us as scientists, we start with the third layer first. We have built a computer vision that identifies weed species and robotic arms which spray micro herbicides. The person doesn't have a clue where you're headed. Flip the line. First layer, dumb layer. Second layer, how it works layer. Third layer, the technical layer. Anyone from Presentum, if you're on the call, just check. There's a speaker in the other room and I'm able to hear myself. There's an echo, right? So let's say I'm a biomedical device. In fact, I have taken this example from one of the decks that I have here. Microfluidic biomarker detection platform. Rather than that, we have a platform that detects disease in minutes. How it works? A portable device that scans blood samples in clinics. What is the real technology behind it? We use microfluidic channels to isolate biomarkers. Now it becomes easy. Even if the person doesn't understand layer 3, layer 1 and 2 will help them know what you are trying to do. Tool 4, which is the before after frame. Science improvements must always be contextualized. As compared to what? What is the context? Before, EV charging took 90 minutes. There were charging stations. I'm sorry, someone was asking. Oops. Why am I able to hear myself again? I. Are you also hearing me twice?
Yeah, we were.
Yes,
It's,
yes.
I think,
Yes, sir.
Ritu Gupta's mic.
Okay, someone I think unmuted and shared audio or whatever, right? Yeah, cool. Now I was worried about all of you. मेरे को खुद को सुनते हो तो इतना खराब लग रहा है. आप लोग बेचारे मेरे को 5-3 घंटा सुन रहे हो यार. Shit, sad. हैं? ठीक है. Anyway, so before after. So EV charging now takes 10 minutes. The batteries are fast charging batteries and long distance travel is now possible. Then your technology makes a lot of sense to me. Otherwise, if you tell me only this part of the technology, it doesn't make sense. The fifth kind of tool to make science into a story is to take people on the user journey. Don't tell them the technology, but tell them the experience. For example, I think there is a startup in your cohort which is into 3D printing and all that stuff. The architect uploads the building plan, the robot prints the foundation, the walls are automatically printed, the building is completed in days. What is happening now? Now I am able to see what that technology is. Rather than saying AI driven 3D printing model, I don't know what's happening. The sixth tool to simplify science into story is the visual simplification rule. Ask yourself, can I explain this concept with an image instead of a text? Many of us take shelter behind words because it's easy to type everything and put it there. But if you have to show it as a picture, it's very, very difficult. But show it to me as a picture and I will understand and remember it much, much, much faster. I remember seeing Ravi Kaushik's deck, and I know in the deck there was that drawing where you're showing it with the filter and how the nanoparticles are entering and how it moves. He could have written a 100-page essay and I would have not understood it that one single diagram explains the whole thing. So ask yourself, can you do a process flow? Can you show a workflow? Can you show a detection process diagram? And the seventh tool is the child test. Can you go and explain what you are doing to a child who's 5 years old? You may say, sir, mine is very deep tech research. How can I tell that? If you can tell it, it means you have understood what you're doing much, much better than anyone else in the world. So put yourself, write a line, go and test it with your son, daughter, nephew, whoever is younger, who's not from the domain. Because right now what happens, you are in Science IIT Mumbai, you're talking to people who are all already educated in the same science. So they understand. But when you come to Pradeep Yuvraj, a poor guy who was selling oil and cylinders for a business, for a livelihood, that guy doesn't understand your biotech. Right? And you may assume that Pradeep is a specialist in biomedical electronics because my specialization was biomedical electronics. But I have no clue, except for the fact that the teacher who taught that subject was very good, so I took that elective. Good looking, not good. I'm sorry, I didn't complete the sentence, yeah? So, although I did that, I don't know. So sometimes we assume that just because the other person is a doctorate in so and so, he may know or she may know. They don't know. That is where the one small child test works. Go ahead and tell what you're doing to the child. Which now brings us to understand how you and I can build our narratives. For the next 40 odd minutes, we will be doing some activities and exercises where you'll have to write stuff down. So please do have your paper and pen together. When you are going to investors, you are trying to convince them that this is a scalable opportunity. This is not a technology project that I am sitting in the labs of IIT Bombay or IIT Chennai and trying to do. I am trying to create a product that will go to the market and I can sell it on Amazon. So what's the simple flow? Okay, first let's go with the simple process and then I will go into the pitch deck. I have not gone into the pitch deck because first we need to understand the fundamentals. What is the problem? What is the breakthrough that you had? What was that great idea you had? What's the proof that what you're telling can really work? And then is there a market for it? I have built the world's first ceiling cleaning robot. Great, brilliant. But is my mother going to pay for it? No, because she's worried it will fall on her head. So there is no market for it. So there's no point in the other 3 steps. So it's important that you find a market. So number 1, what is the big problem? Millions of cancer cases are detected too late. That is the problem. Everyone knows cancer is detected. But what really many people don't know that it's sometimes detected late because there are no mechanisms to or biomarkers to find cancer at an early stage. So if I can predict whether it will rain in July, then why can't I predict whether someone will get cancer 6 months before they can get it? That is what we are trying to solve, sir. Then you talk about the breakthrough solution. We found that there are certain biomarkers which the body triggers much before the cancer cells start forming. So we are in the business of trying to find those biomarkers so that when someone comes for their diabetics test and we have the blood sample, we can just run it through our platform and we will be able to predict that there is a big possibility that this person can have cancer. Why is this? Suddenly this idea came? Sir, 30 years ago my professor also had the same idea. But that day the professor did not have access to AI and databases, and so he had the technology to detect, but there was no way to cross verify. Now with AI, I am able to verify. Timing is very important when you convince people about technology. Because I also thought I had the idea of Amazon when I was in college, but the timing was wrong. There was no mobile phone, there was no smartphone, there was no internet. So Pradeep's idea of starting an e-commerce website flopped. Jeff Bezos copied from me and then now he's become rich. Number 3, what is the proof that what you're telling will work? Sir, we have already done this test on random blood samples. We have taken blood samples of people who have cancer and we were able to clearly see the biomarkers are there. We took some of the blood reports of people 2 years ago. We ran it through those tests and we were able to predict cancer 2 years earlier on paper. If you have a pilot running in a hospital, that is a proof that something is working. You may not be still successful with the pilot, that's okay. And then finally what you do, you show whether it's a massive opportunity. Early cancer detection is a $50 billion global market. Now my ears and eyes are popping up. Okay, this is a big market, man. I never thought it's going to be such a big market. Okay, maybe you're much early stage, maybe you're still struggling, but I don't mind funding you. Because what if you become the next $1 trillion company? I don't want to miss the opportunity. Emotion of FOMO, fear of missing out. So, just to give you one more easy example to understand this, the problem is that radiologists are overwhelmed. They have to see so much data and it's very difficult manually for them to even understand whether there is a problem in the scan. So what do? We have an AI that scans the images instantly. What is the proof? We are already using it in 10 hospitals and they have reported good feedback. The global radiology market is worth billions of dollars. That's all. If you meet someone in the lift and you can tell that someone about this in 4 lines, there is a big possibility that he or she may say, okay, come, let's meet for coffee, give me a 10-minute pitch. What we call as the elevator pitch. Which brings us to the main part of today, which is the pitch deck and how you and I can build a pitch deck that helps you raise, let me not use the word money, but helps you raise investor interest faster and better. That's important. By yourself, maybe you may be able to get the LOI signed in 1 year. The pitch deck may help you do it in 3 months. That's what we're trying to do. Okay. If there is one thing that your pitch deck has to really prove, it is this. That अगर ये company नहीं है तो दुनिया बर्बाद हो जाएगा. It is inevitable that this company has to come to existence. And I, Pradeep Yuvraj, want to be the proud guy who tells 50 years down the line that I was the first guy who invested in this company. Like I have a client called Sadhguru Consultants and their claim to fame is they were the first investor in Bharat Biotech of Mr. Ella. So whenever I meet them or when they meet new people, they never shy away from telling that they were the first guys to do it. It took them 30 years to come to that stage, but think of the pride they have. Can you do that when you do your pitch? The transition I want all of us to make is from a person who says we build this amazing technology to a person who says we are building this category defining business, a category defining company. Again, I am using Ravi's example because nowhere else in the world is there an air conditioner filter that comes as a fitment to the air conditioner. There are separate air filters, there are separate air conditioners, but something that can be retrofitted, this is the first time. And even if Ravi doesn't make 100 crores, Ravi can always be proud of the fact that he was the one who started this category defining business. Sometimes that is 10 times more greater than money. So can you prove that to investors in your pitch deck is what we are going to understand. So I call this the baker's dozen. Can anyone tell me why it's called the baker's dozen? The 13 elements of an ideal pitch deck. A dozen is how much, Devshri?
12.
Then I said 13 elements, something wrong? Parag? How did dozen become 13?
Uh, I am not sure.
Not sure? Okay. So in the olden times, when a baker used to bake bread, he or she had to give minimum of 12 slices. Otherwise, it was a crime. The crime was so bad that they used to be flogged in the middle of the street. So just to make sure that they never ever gave 11, they always used to throw one extra. That's why baker's dozen is not 12 and 13. I wanted a fancy name for my workshop, so I kept it as baker's dozen. And I am in fact, I'm trademarking the brand called baker's dozen. The first element of any pitch deck has to be the one single line. The one line, the one single line. If the investor has to remember one idea from your deck, it has to be this line. They are the world's first hearing aid device for congenital hearing loss. That's all I want people to remember. Nothing more, nothing less. It is not the introduction of your company. We are a deep tech startup incubated at IIT Science Mumbai and we are working on the latest technologies to solve this particular problem. I will not remember that. We are ensuring no child in India dies of polio. Okay, it's a company, you know what, they're trying to make polio zero. Wow, I want to know more about them. So rather than saying you are an advanced carbon capture system, you say capture industrial carbon dioxide at half the cost of existing systems. Now he's able to see his own factory. He's able to see that his money is being spent on capturing carbon and you are helping him make it 50-50. A space tech satellite company might say satellite data analytics platform. Rather than that, I will say real-time crop intelligence from space for every farm on earth. Oh wow, every farm on earth. How? Through satellite. Now there's a value to the whole thing. If you're a pathology startup, warehouse automation platform. Oh sorry, I think the heading got goofed up, sorry. Autonomous robots that double warehouse productivity. We are an autonomous robotic company. We are building the next generation, 7th generation of robots for warehouse management. I don't know. So now what I want you to do is on your sheet of paper, go ahead and write this line for your startup. We are building the fastest, cheapest, smartest, I don't know what. What can be the adjective you find? To do what? Just write that. Okay? Please remember there is no right answer, wrong answer. Right now I am becoming your brain coach. I am coaching your brain to think like a businessman and a good storyteller. That's all. Okay? And if you want, you can type it on the chat and we will try to discuss a few of them. And I can see 3, 4, 7, 3, 10, 11, 12. 12 people on my video. All the other people, when I am coming to meet you, I am going to wear a burqa. Sanidhya, Lakshman, Uttama Lairi, Lalit Kumar, Himanshu Nath, Harish Shetty. When I come next time, तुमको मिलने को मैं बुर्का पहन के आऊँगा. Because you are not showing me your face, you are not showing your video. Now Uttama is here. Rahul Kumar Sunil Singh, Namaste भाईजान. कहाँ यार कैमरे की आड़ में छुपे बैठे हो यार, शक्ल दिखाओ, फंडिंग करता हूं मैं तुम्हारी कंपनी में. Super. We are building the future of AC filtration for better health of your family and your AC. No, Kaushik, I want, what are you doing in an adjective way? What are you doing fastest? What are you doing cheapest? What are you doing smartest? We are building the cleanest rooms. So, you know, this is not something that you're going to use anywhere. It is just to get you to think, right? What is that one adjective that defines what you're doing? Because every one of us is helping others do something either better, faster, cheaper. So what are you helping other people? First quantum secure modem for India's critical information. You see again, why critical infrastructure and all the most reliable way to sense hazardous gases? Maybe yes, I like that, right? AI powered autonomous retail platform. No, I want right now, Kirti, in a way that you have an adjective in your statement. सबसे बड़ा, सबसे छोटा, सबसे महंगा, सबसे cheaper, सबसे fastest. What is that? One statement.
Got it.
Smartest
Got
technology
it.
to make roads safer in India and the world. Kirti, I'm sorry, you said something? Yes. Now, Ravi, we are building the smartest way to clean the air. That's all. No need for all the extra fittings. वो बाद में देख लेंगे. ऐसे कैसे? क्या बोल रहे? कौन सा एयर? Let him ask, no? तभी तो आएगा वो अपने हुक के अंदर, right? So that's the whole idea of living. One-stop shops for all propulsion system required for all UAE companies. Again, Parag, I want an adjective. And adjectives like best are probably not a great thing because they can't be measured. We are building the world's best robot. No. But we are building the world's fastest robot. Yes. Other robots run at 100 meters, they take 9 seconds. I take 2 seconds. So your adjective also has to be measurable. It cannot be just random adjectives. Okay. Cheapest way to capture high resolution data from space. Okay, Anish, maybe a little bit. High performance, low cost and safer lithium ion batteries in-house LMFP. See Rahul, so much technical terms. अब तो मेरे को मेरा फिजिक्स टीचर याद आ रहा है, LMFP क्या है और कैथोड क्या है and all this stuff, right? So what are you really doing? We are building the most long-running batteries the world has ever seen. Right? Maybe. I'm just thinking aloud. I know what, that's not the right answer. What I'm trying to tell you is find that one adjective that fits to your company. Okay? One template. The second template that we can do is we help dash achieve dash by dash. We help officers stay clean by filtering dust through the air conditioner. Write down your single statement for that. The timing of the exercise is also good that I can now grab my sandwich and now I can get Anil also, Apna Kaushik also, Ravi Kaushik also to have paid the, because now he has to see me eating. Abhishek, smartest and fastest, too many adjectives. एक चीज क्या है? Safer, how? We help industries achieve safety by sensing toxic gases earlier. Wonderful. Ravi again. Now, earth filters is a concept you know. I don't know what it is. So, can you make it simpler? Using fitted filters on air conditioners. Because right now, like I said, you are not trying to prove me your technology. You are trying to tell me what it can do for me. The moment you put in a term that I don't understand, then I am a little clueless. We help all kids achieve inclusivity by accessible early detection of neurodevelopment. Gaural Gupta, where is Rakshit bhai? Gaural, I don't think I saw your name on the co-founder list.
No, so co-founders are a little busy, so I'm attending the meeting.
Very busy, हाँ. Tell Rakshit कि प्रदीप सर गुस्सा हो गए तुम क्लास में नहीं आए करके, ठीक है?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the first time those guys pitched, I was the one who helped them make a pitch deck.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So Gaurav, see, we help all kids. Now all kids का क्या मतलब होता है, right? So we help detect what do you call neurodevelopment disorders at a much earlier stage by using videos as a detection tool, right? That's how I would probably define diagnosis, right? So you can't make statements where the statement can be debated. The statement, hey buddy, कैसा है?
Hello, hi. I'm the founder, sir. Sorry,
I know. You and I haven't met, but Rakshit and I have spoken many times.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, super. So right.
Yeah.
So when you say all kids achieve inclusivity, now these are all very broad terms, right? What is the problem that AI diagnosis is solving? That most of the times when we detect neurodevelopmental issues, it's already too late. It's too expensive, right? We are finding a fast way to detect neurodevelopment issues before their actual impact on the child happens, which is the age group between 6 months to 6 years. Today, most of the detection happens after 6 years, when it is too late to even do something about it, right? So that is where you need to be very specific in those lines that you make, okay? The next
I think we're
template that
very
we can...
specific. We
I'm sorry?
define our problem very specifically first and then say, okay, this tool, because of course, if we make tall claims, then we would have to back them up. So we're very careful about the claims. So we're even very careful about what the tool does. It's not a diagnostic tool, it's a screening tool. So we are, because this is medical, this is like the top priority safety wise. So we are very careful as to what the message is.
Got it, absolutely. But whatever, so you are Goral or she's Goral? Who's Goral?
She's
Goral, right? So I'm just responding to what Goral typed here, right? She said all kids. Now all kids is a very big statement, right? It's a very, very big statement. So again, comes back to your same thing. Can you prove it, not prove it? What age group of kids and all the stuff, right? Right now we are doing this exercise for all of us to train our thought process to find a way by which each of us can define our companies in one simple line. And that is what will define your strength as an entrepreneur. Why? This is called as Mento's pyramid principle. All the consultants in the world, they always start with what's the point? And then they break that point into 3 buckets of validation. If you look at a newspaper article, it uses the same philosophy. The headline of the article is enough for you to read and say, hey, I want to read this article or no. And then in the article they'll go. But all of us as scientists, how are we trained? I did this, then I did this, and I did this. Hence conclusion. I am telling you to flip it. Get the conclusion first. Now children can be detected with neurodevelopmental disease without going to the doctor, maybe, whatever, right? So this exercise will help you. Let me give you a next template. Again, copy this template and try to write for yourself. Okay? Dash, struggle with dash. Costing them dash, we fix this by dash. Parents struggle with detecting neurodevelopment issues. Costing them lots of visits to doctors. We fix this by doing early detection. That's all. See, the point also, I'm sorry, Gaural's colleague, I forgot your name.
Divyansh.
I'm sorry?
It's Divyansh.
Divyansh, right? So Divyansh, what this will also do is help people understand it in such a way that they can now go and talk. Because as co-founders, maybe Rakshit understands what the business is, but how will Gaurav know? Only when we equip her with a very simple line, which she can go every time Gaurav speaks to anyone, it has to be that one simple line. That is where this exercise is going to help you. So go ahead and write dash, struggle with dash, costing them dash, we fix this by dash.
Perfect.
These are all different templates for you to practice, and based on this, whichever works perfect for you, go ahead and do it. So Parth, now we can kind of make it a little more better by making it as which industries.
Yeah, okay.
Right? then it makes it a little more better, easy for me to understand. And what kind of gas leaks? Are you talking about LPG? Are you talking about argon? Are you talking about oxygen? Then it makes a little more clearer sense, right? So that's the. Super, Vijay. So Anish, probably urban cities are urban anyway, right? Urban localities are the biggest hit by natural disasters. This results in billions of dollars wasted in rehabilitation. We fix this by giving them data so they can prevent those disasters happening. That kind of helps it. Coming back to Vijay again, right? If possible, as you go along, right now this is good, but as you go along and you're speaking from an investor perspective, try to quantify things in a dollar term, money term. Me helping soldiers is great, but what is it doing? I am saving 100 crores for the Indian Army by helping them not invest in protective gear. That quantification is what will then start helping the investors understand. Automotive OEM struggle, government officials struggles with statewide scattered data sets, costing them delay in taking decisions on time. We fix this by giving them statewide insights at a single dashboard, faster and more accurate. Great, Abhishek. Right? Again, it's still a little long. You can reduce it. And like I said, show me one impact. That's the best thing. The Uttarakhand landslide would not have happened if the collector had this data. We are now providing this data using satellite sensing. Now it's easy for me to remember Uttarakhand, what happened there, the cloud burst and all that stuff. I'm seeing people dying. I know why your product or your company is important to the world. The fourth way is to use metaphors. We are the dash for dash, where the first dash is a large company or a large product that everyone knows and you are very similar to them. For example, the cervical cancer example, we are like the AccuCheck of cervical cancer testing, or we are like the Prega test of cervical cancer. Everyone knows what's Prega test. You are not doing it for pregnancy, you are doing it for cervical cancer. So find that. The key here is that the first dash has to be something well known. For example, I am assuming that everyone knows what's Prega test, but maybe you might have an investor there who's never been in India. No, Parag, we are the future of flight is a very thing. We are the Tesla of trucks. Now everyone knows what's Tesla. It's an electric vehicle company. What are you? You are an electric vehicle company for trucks. That is the analogy I have to get. When I hear of the other name, for example, let's say I am an aggregator of all the laboratories in India. I will say I am like the Airbnb of laboratories. What is Airbnb? It takes already existing infrastructure, which means your company is taking infrastructure from existing labs. You're not building anything new. For what? Laboratories. We are the air purifiers for AC. Great, but maybe it will now get the other person confused. कि air AC already purify करके ही देता है मेरे को air, तो ये air purify AC के क्यों चाहिए, right? So I may get confused. So you have to find a more relevant attachment, right? So that's like, for example, I'm not able to find a filter.
Yeah, it's tough in our category.
I'm sorry, Ravi.
Yeah, it's tough in our category.
Yeah. But I'll come to that, right? We are alternate to China for lithium-ion batteries. No. Now, Rahul, those are generic statements. What I want to understand is, which kind of a company are you? I am like the Bharat Biocon for cattle vaccines. Bharat Biocon क्या करता है? We know. तुम किसके लिए करते हो? Cattle के करते हो. That is the analysis. We are the thermometer for Parkinson's. Okay. it is interesting, it is good, but then you are now dumbing it down too much, Sweta, right? Because a thermometer is a very easy device where you put it in the mouth and you know what it comes, whereas AMI-scan is not like that, right? So we are like the CAT scan for CT scan for Parkinson's, maybe.
Okay.
Right? So that is what you need to find out. We are the microscope for Earth observation. No, the first one cannot be a generic category. The first one has to be a specific brand or a company that I can easily connect to what you are doing. Right? Microscope for Earth observation, like you will be able to look into my room and all that stuff, right? We are the Intel inside wearable heating products. Yeah, we are the Intel for heating products. So what is Intel? Intel is a chip that that powers other things. You are powering heating products, right? So 4 templates. Try to work on these. Try to come to one single COVID home screening kit for autism. Close by, but still, can you do something more better, right? We are like the AccuCheck for autism. AccuCheck क्या है? घर पे शुगर टेस्ट कर सकते हो. Autism अभी तुम घर पे चेक कर सकते हो by using our what we are doing. But mind you, AccuCheck should be something that everyone knows. Today we assume that everyone knows. In India it might be okay, but tomorrow if you meet an investor from outside, you can't use that, right? The second slide or the second chapter in an ideal pitch deck is the painful problem. What is the world struggling from? What are the real world stakes? 2 billion people lack safe drinking water. The solution is desalination, which is very, very expensive. And rural purification systems fail. There are villagers in Rajasthan who have to walk 30 kilometers to fetch one matka of fresh water. That is the pain. Show me the pain, because I would never understand. Because, for example, this is like a third world country problem. In America, they have never seen water scarcity, so they will not understand. So you have to help them empathize. Let's use visual thinking. What I wanted to do is draw 3 boxes like this and draw 3 line drawings or whatever. Who is that person? What is the pain that person is going through? And what is the impact of that pain? Go ahead and write it for your product. So for Parth, it could be the operations manager of a factory.
Yeah.
The pain is he has had multiple fires due to gas leakages. The impact, the company has stopped many times in the past.
Right. Got it.
Draw it, but draw it.
Yes, sir.
So admin, I don't know what your name is, I'm sorry.
प्रयाग.
नहीं वो नहीं, ये एक और है admin करके, किसका नाम है यहाँ पर?
Sorry
Yes,
about
sir.
that. I didn't give a name. I'm Bharat Lohani.
Okay, Mr. Bharat, right? So 1,70,000 people die every year in the India due to road accidents is a number. It's a data point, right? But what is the real impact? Many parents lose their sons who are potentially going to be employed, and hence India is losing future resources. Why? Because of accidents. For example, I know the statistics, almost 70% of accident victims are under the age of 25, which means हमने 10 लाख रुपया खर्चा किया उसको पढ़ाने में, इंजीनियर बनाने में, और एक झटके में वो गायब हो गया. That is the impact, Bharat, that we have to talk about. Cool. The third element of the pitch deck has to be the why now. What is it that makes this current age the right time to do this? For example, Bharat, now it is more important we talk about accidents because number of roads are much bigger, number of vehicles on roads are much bigger. Earlier vehicles maximum speed capacity used to be 80, 90. Now there are vehicles which can run at 300 kilometers, normal regular vehicles that regular people can afford. So it has become more imperative that we talk about this problem right now. For you in your deep tech science, it could be a regulatory shift that now the government of India has opened up insurance regulation to even private parties, investment in insurance to foreign companies, or there could be a technology shift. Like I said, 20 years ago also someone had the idea of biomarker detection, but they did not have access to AI and data sets. Now technology has shifted that in one incident my computer can analyze billions of pieces of data, or there might be a reduction in cost. Till 10 years ago, the cost of a microchip wafer used to be a lakh per square feet. Now it's only 100 rupees a square feet. In 1991, a SIM card used to cost 35 rupees. Now it costs 3 paise. So I am able to build detection systems where I use SIM cards all over my factory. There could be a market readiness. Till a few years ago, hospitals were not ready to take scans that were taken outside. So patients had to take a scan again in the hospital. Now hospitals are open to the idea because although they make money in the scans, but they are also investing a lot of infrastructure on that. So hospitals are now thinking, why should I put the lab? Why should I put the equipment? Why should I make my patients wait here? If you get your scan from a reputed scan center, the doctor will treat you as an OP. Otherwise, you have to wait for 6 hours to take an X-ray or an MRI scan. So what are the things in your industry that are telling you that you are at the right time to start the business or run the business?
Yeah.
Like, for example, Rahul Kumar, right? The LPG and the oil industry problems are now forcing people to think of electric vehicles much more faster, right? So now is the right time for you to say that, okay, I want to start the electric vehicle company. Otherwise, investor बोलेगा यार ऑलरेडी 50 है, तुम काय को खोल रहे हो नया? बट अभी तुम बोल सकते हो सर, अभी पूरा दुनिया सोच रहा है कि इंडक्शन स्टव चाहिए, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल चाहिए. So now is a great time. That's how you talk about the now. Then what you do, you create dissatisfaction, saying that there are many solutions, but you are now creating the enemy. The enemy is nothing but all the alternatives your customer has. That these are the enemies. That there are batteries, they are expensive. There are tests, they take a lot of time. There are purifiers, they are very, very heavy. They are the villain. So it's not the brands that you are creating as the villain. You are creating the solution as the villain. That is very important. Don't talk about specific companies. Then it becomes very, very dicey, right? So for example, current method is pap smear, but the problem is it's very painful. Lab diagnostics, the problem is it's very, very expensive. Imaging is happening, but it's very, very slow. So the villain is not these. The villain is these things. Painfulness is a villain. Expensiveness is a villain. Slowness is a villain. So now what are you preparing the investor for? You are making them think that, okay, maybe this company might be doing it without pain. Maybe this company might be doing it in a cheaper way. You are preparing the ground for them to ask the next questions, which is where you explain your breakthrough insight. That what is it that you found? Sir, while doing research on pregnancy, I realized that the kits are very similar to kind of kits used in cervical cancer. So I said, why not match these two things? There are not many people who would have got this idea because there are very few people who are working on both the things in the same laboratory. I work in Science IIT Mumbai where these two things are happening in the same cubicle, and so I had this insight. Insight always comes because you are at the right place at the right time. So talk about the insight. Explain what changed scientifically that is telling you. That sir, till now there was no way that we could create a covalent bond outside the cell structure. But now we can isolate the atoms and we can create any type of compounds that we want. This technology was not available 10 years ago. Our graphene membrane filters salt from seawater using 70% less energy than desalination plants. That has what has changed. And so we know we can do a great business out of it. An easy way to do this is to use the power of visuals. We call this the thinking through drawings. A triangle combined with a circle combined with waves resulted in a star. What does this mean? What are those 3 unique things that Dr. Debashish Nayak brought together which no one else thought of bringing together to find the solution to his problem? So what is your triangle? What is your circle? What is your wave? 3 unexpected things that no one else thought could come together. Everyone else thought the only way to solve the pollution problem in India is by sucking all the air. We said no. Is there something that we can do by combining the power of the earth and gravity and this? That is my unique insight. So take a moment and draw these shapes and try to tell what do these shapes stand for in your technology. The shapes are just indicative to say that different things which are not related came together. You can draw whatever shape you want. Awesome. Now comes the question, what are you exactly selling? What are you going to make money out of? This is where your science has to now start converting into business. Are you selling a device? Are you selling a platform? Are you selling a process? Are you selling a software? What are you actually selling is something that I would like to know. Which is where you have to clearly say that I am not selling the test kits. I am selling the platform. So this platform can fit onto any existing laboratory equipment and solve it. Then comes the next question as to how do I believe you? Investors love proof. Proof comes from traction. What is traction? Have you had trials? Have you had early revenue? We already have 2.5 crores of revenue, which is to prove that, boss, if there are people ready to pay you, that means it's a good business, which means you don't have to prove the technology. What you need to now prove to the investor is how are you going to make this business a business. That's all. You don't have to talk about the science at all. Ravi, again, because I remember yours from top of mind, right? I think you are 2.5 crores or something is your revenue turnover, right? Now you don't have to prove that your filter works, what is the technology, all that stuff, right? If there are 20,000 people paying you money, it means there must be something. So your deck actually should have only one slide about the technology and remaining everything about business. That is where the transition happens, because when you are going for fundraising, you are going to prove that your business is something that I can buy.
Yes.
When you talk about the traction, you can talk about what is the market, which market will you enter first, then how will you expand, and then how will you go for the big vision. For example, initial starting is cervical cancer, next expansion is detection of all the other cancers, and finally we will go for detection of every disease. That's the final goal. But right now we are starting here. Basically, what are you trying to say? That I will have a logical progression. I start small, I expand logically, and then I dominate my category. One more example, A pathology for lung cancer, diagnosis for multiple cancers, and then for automating pathology. So if you see, I am starting small, then I grow big, then I become big. Don't write 92% in lab testing. Rather write pilot running in 4 hospitals with 1,200 patient samples. Even more possible, hospitals have signed contracts for the next phase, which means you have done so well, gone there. So now it's basically like this. Many people on their resumes, I see they mention their 12 standard marks and their 10 standard marks and their degree and then the PG. My question is, boss, if you did not pass all those things, you would not have come to PG at all. So why are you wasting your time on telling me about something that has no value? Which is the same thing here. So if you have already reached the stage where hospitals are signing contracts with you, you don't even have to prove yourself. नाउ द डिस्कशन इज प्रदीप तुम 10 करोड़ दोगे कि 12 करोड़ दोगे और उसके बदले मैं तुमको 5% दूंगा कि 2% दूंगा. That has to be the discussion rather than proving yourself. I saw in the decks many of you already are at a stage where you don't have to prove yourself. You have to now start talking like a businessman or a woman. That said, if you are thinking that you are not capable of that, I suggest find a co-founder who can do those stuff for you. Or spend money and find an employee who can do that for you. Traction basically means someone has believed in you and is paying you for your product. That is what traction means. Hold a second. Next comes the business model. How will you make money? Who will be the person who pays for you? Will it be the laboratory? Will it be the patient? Will it be the doctor who writes the test? Who pays for it? How will they pay for it? How much will they pay for it? And when they pay for it, what will be the margins? Again, coming back to Ravi's example, will it be the air conditioning company which will pay for it, or will it be a B2C company? If you say you're a B2C company, then I'm a little worried because the amount of energy and effort you have to put to sell is going to be high. But what if Ravi goes and sells the technology to higher air conditioner and Voltas air conditioner, everything else, saying that now you rather than retrofitting it, fitting it, get it into the AC itself. Ravi can become a billionaire much faster than when Ravi is going to try the equipment selling to them. But of course, it's a personal choice. It's a very personal choice, right? But when you're looking at fundraising and scaling, the investor will ask you these questions. That why are you not looking at this? Why are you looking at yourself as a B2C? You are not a B2C, you're a B2B company. Hospitals will buy from us, sir. They will buy the device. Oh, by the way, they will also buy a subscription for maintenance of the device. That is how I will make my money. Then comes the market opportunity. And this is one slide where many of us struggle because all of us have been trained to talk about TAM, SAM and SOM. Total available market, serviceable attainable market, serviceable obtainable market. And when I see someone's slide saying $22 billion market, my next question is, why not 22.1 billion? Prove it to me. There is no way you can prove it. These data sets are so big that there's practically no way. So what you need to do is, one, you need to tell me the flow of how your market entry is going to be. Where do you enter? How do you expand? How do you go bigger? But more importantly, you talk about the persona of what is your TAM, SAM and SOM. My SOM is made up of people who earn less than 50,000 a month or rather more than 50,000 a month who live in tier 1 cities of India. Now automatically, although there are other customers who can buy from you from Coimbatore and Raipur and Kolhapur, you are not going to waste your time with them because they are minimal. Then it becomes practical. Otherwise, many of us say, sir, every person is my customer. Correct? सबको blood test चाहिए, तो सब मेरा customer है. दुनिया में सबके पास AC है, तो सब AC मेरा customer है. नहीं. Someone who's ready to spend 5,000 rupees after having spent 45,000 on AC is the only kind of a person I want. So maybe a single house may not be my customer. An office maybe. A large company maybe. But in large companies, they have central ACs. So large companies are not in my target segment. So you have to define your segment as a persona. And one very, very important thing that many people miss is, what is this market going to be in the next 10 years? Investors want to invest not in big markets, but in big growing markets. So the green graph here is something that says that today we are a 10 crore market, but by the stage that we are growing, in 10 years we will be a 1,000 crore market. But that time I will be the leader, so I will be having a big chunk. Today I may be a small fish, a big fish in a small pond, but the pond is becoming big. Very soon I will become a big fish in a big pond. This I see in many decks is missing. At what growth rate is the market growing, and in that projected growth rate, where will you be? So please take a minute and imagine 3 Matryoshka dolls like the Russian dolls. What is your TAM, SAM and SOM? Write down the persona. Who is that person? Who's your total available market? Who's your serviceable available market? Who's your serviceable optimal market? Who is that person? How does that person look like? What does he wear? What does she wear? How does she travel? What is her income? That is what persona is. And you know why this helps? Because when you clearly do the SOM, Your salesperson knows who to go and meet today. If Ravi says, सब जिसके पास AC है वो सब अपना customer है, तो what will your guy do? He will go to the nearest apartment complex. It may be housing complex, housing unit, where people are not even earning 10,000 a month. They are not going to be your customers. So Ravi has to say, any apartment complex where the rent is more than 20,000 rupees, where the houses are minimum of 1,500 square feet. Imagine a locality where there are at least 3 security guys. That is the kind of buildings we need to go. Now your guy exactly knows where to go. Many salespeople fail because their bosses do not tell them the correct SOM that they need to tackle. So they go anywhere and everywhere. So go ahead and write the persona. Super. Then comes the financial numbers. There are 2 kinds of numbers that you need to talk about. One is what have you achieved so far, and the second one is what are your projections for the future. That if we sell 10 units, we will earn so much, we will have to spend so much, our bottom line is this. Not too much details, no spreadsheets, just a simple graph that shows me what your company's growth is going to be like. And one common thing I have seen with scientific kind of startups is you always try to show a graph that's always going up. In real business, that doesn't happen. Real business always follows the inverse hockey curve. First things will go down, 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 till a point where you understand what's the way this market can be cracked. Then you come up, 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 till a point where you become break even. And then you start growing, and then you kind of go exponential growth. But I have seen many young startups who will show me a graph like this. I know it's a lie. This will never happen in real life. So please be very clear. If you are someone like me who doesn't like numbers, please find a good financial planner or a good CFO and try to get them to do it. Please do not go to an auditor, because auditors are post-mortem guys. They will tell you why the patient died after the patient has died. What you need is someone who will tell you why the patient could die. You need someone who can predict the future. I am not saying auditors are good or bad. It's just that their training is to analyze what has happened, not to analyze what can happen. Then you talk about your competition and what stops competition from copying you. Now that everyone has heard what Ravi Kaushik is doing, what stops Bharat from copying what Ravi Kaushik is doing? What stops Devshree from copying it? That is where your competition and mode. Competition defensibility can come through patents. It can come through manufacturing capability. Sir, I am the only company in India which has this kind of a production capacity. So even if Devashish copies my idea, he may manufacture things only at 10,000 rupees. I can do it at 500 rupees. Or you may have a scientific lead, which means you have been doing research on this for 10 years. Anyone else coming in has to spend more time. Or you may have a data moat. I worked in Tata Institute of Fundamental Sciences. I have access to the data of almost 1 million patients. No other hospital in the world has access to this data. So I can use it, and I have got approval from my hospital. Or you may have some proprietary data that you gathered by research. Or you may have some kind of a regulatory lead saying that in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, the government has allowed for vaccination for cervical cancer as part of public health. Now I can operate in those 2 states without any licenses. I have a regulatory lead. The companies who are in Bombay, Maharashtra and Gujarat, they cannot come to Tamil Nadu immediately. They will take some time. So I have a moat. When you show a moat, your competition, rather than showing a table where you are comparing on features, show a landscape. Parameter A, variable 1 and variable 2. Which are those 2 variables on which you are like the best? For example, size of particles filtered, 0.0001 micron. I am like the best. Cost for filtering for 1 hour, 10 rupees. There are other people who can filter much more smaller microns, but they are more expensive. There are other people who are very cheaper, but they can only go till 0.1 micron. I can go till 0.001 micron. Find that and show it on a XY axis graph like this. So maybe you might be here, but this is your white space. इधर का मैं राजा हूँ, कोई और नहीं है इधर पे. People want to see what your blue ocean is. It can only be seen when you compare yourself on 2 parameters. If there are 4 parameters, then draw 2 graphs. Make it simpler for them. Then the final point is, what is the team? How are you the right guys to take India to the Mars? Sir, this guy has been in space, he knows how to do spacewalking. This guy is a specialist in radio technology. This guy is a specialist in propulsion systems. Together we are the right people to do it. Why? Because investors don't invest in the idea. They invest in the people who can make those ideas come true. Like Ravi Kaushik, there might be at least 10 other people in India who have the same idea, but only Ravi could execute it. So you have to prove that you are the right team. A formula that I use is, my name is M1, I did so and so thing. I work for Coca-Cola, so I can do marketing for my company. My name is M2, I did 10 years of research in biochemistry lab, so I am the one who is going to be responsible for compliances in my company. My name is M3, I used to work for advertising companies. I am the one who's going to be handling advertising. Don't talk about your names. Don't talk about your institutions. Talk about what you bring as skill sets onto the table. You may have studied in Harvard, but that doesn't mean you will be able to sell watermelon better and faster on the streets. So your academic credentials are only so much. What really matters is your execution credentials. How will you execute? And the final point in a pitch deck is the vision and ask. What do you plan to do? Why are you raising money? What will you use that money for? When you use the money, what is the big outcome? Never ask money without knowing what the money is going to be used and when it is going to be used. Investors want the clarity on both the fund ask and the fund usage. And milestones. I may give you 10 crores, but are you going to use 10 crores today? Then why should I give you 10 now? I'll give you 1. Then you will come back and tell, sir, today we are at TRL 4. When we achieve TRL 5, we will come back to you and ask for 1 crore. Now I am confident that you will not give me bullshit, because till you achieve TRL 5, you will not come to me. Otherwise, I'll give you 5 crores and I am sitting in my mind thinking, when will this happen? When will this happen? So investors like milestones, because that's the only way I can judge. So we are raising $5 million today so that we can deploy in 200 hospitals. Now the investor knows, even if you have done 198 hospitals, he will come and ask, what happened to the other 2? Otherwise, you are raising 5 million to get customers. You will get 1 customer and you will come and show, sir, see, I got customer. Great. Specific, measurable, very, very important. And what's the vision? That by doing our project, clean hydrogen will become cheaper than fossil fuels. Today it is good, but it is not cheaper. Or electric aircraft will become viable for local travel. Today electric aircraft are there, but they are only viable when there are for long distances and there are more people to pay for it. What we are doing is, we are building the next generation of batteries by which it will become viable. That's the big vision that we are doing. So just to summarize the 13 elements once more for all of you. Number 1, what's the one single line? Number 2, what is the problem you are solving? Number 3, why is now the right time? Number 4, why do current solutions not work? Number 5, what is the breakthrough insight that you had scientifically? Number 6, what is the product that you are doing? Number 7, how do I believe you? What is the proof that you have? Number 8, what is the business model? How will you make money? Who will pay for it? Number 9, what is the market size? How many people might buy what you're building? Number 10, what are the financial numbers that will help me measure your progress? Number 11, who are all your competitors? What are the alternatives your customer has? How are you defending yourself from all of them? Number 12, what is the team? And number 13, what is the vision and ask? If you can have these 13 elements in your pitch deck, you are sorted. Now, how do you design the slides and all the stuff? We will speak now. From the decks that I saw, and I am making a generalized statement, there are some flaws that I saw, and I will talk to you about those flaws. If it is there in your deck, go ahead and change it. Number one, talking about the team, like the first or second slide. Unless until your team is like a team that has done 10 exits and the whole world knows you, your
Sir,
team slide has to
if
come much later on.
sir, if I may add,
Yes,
uh, so sir, we have been given this template which we have to follow, and everything that you're saying makes a lot of sense, and we would like to implement it, but not when we are given very hard-coded things, and it seems like we have to put in a certain format. So if Bharat Innovate teams can also maybe jump here and help us explain, do we need to like literally write how they've written, or we can change on the design things, and they are saying 1 or 2 slides, can we have 3 or 4 slides so that it is easy, simple, and we can make a story out of it?
Yeah, so Prayag, you will have to answer that, right? But and it's too early to put Prayag in the spot right now. So Prayag, maybe you check with your team and answer that. Don't answer now, because if you answer now, you are going to dig a hole for yourself. So let me save you, okay? But Ravi, to answer your question from a very different perspective, okay? I've always believed in one thing. If God had template, Ravi, you and I would look the same. Thank God, God didn't have a template, right? So I know as an organization, Bharat Innovates or any other organization has to have templates so that at least people stick to something. Like I will give you one example, Ravi, so you understand what Prayag's problem is. Okay, what was the this thing given to all of you that you have to put it in 5 slides, correct? Out of the 115, there are 13 companies who have more than 47 slides. So now think of poor Prayag, that इतना सब बोलने के बाद भी लोग ऐसा करते हैं. That's why they give templates, right? So that's the practical aspect of it. But that said, Ravi, many of the things that I am telling you will not fit into templates, but they fit logically. And I always speak logically. I always speak with flow. So how do you solve it? So if you have to send something by email, go ahead and fit to the template. But the day when you are presenting, no one can stop you from changing what you are presenting. Go ahead and change it. क्या होगा, ज्यादा से ज्यादा खत्म होने के बाद आके डांटेगा तुम्हारा बॉस, वो जो भी ऑर्गेनाइजर है, कि क्या किया तुमने. लेकिन तुम्हारा काम क्या था? तुम्हारा काम तुम्हारा कंपनी बेचना था. कंपनी तो बिक गया ना, अभी क्या करना है? जिसको रोना है रो लो, right? Like we say in Shell when I used to work, my boss used to tell me one thing: you ask for permission, then only they'll say no. You do it and then let them know. फिर देखते हैं, right? So sometimes you do that, right? Second, this question always comes to me, कि sir, they have told 10 slides, 12 slides. How do we solve it? They said 12 slides, but they never said how many layers. So what I do is I make 5 images, one over the other on one slide. One click, one image will come. Second click, next image will come. So number of slides will be only 2, but I would have had 10 slides incorporated into it. So you find innovative ways to do that. Or if there is something that you can show through a video, instead of 5 slides, show it through the video. They never said you can't use a video, and they never said you can't use 5 slides in the video. So 1 slide equal to 5 slides in a video. The only danger with videos is sometimes they don't play well. Sometimes there's always I have never seen a video play properly when it has to. It never. The only time is when you are watching something your parents should not watch, you watching that, then the video will play barabar se. Other times it will never work. So so though that's my answer to you, Ravi, right? Second problem is most of you have spoken about the technology before the problem. Like I said, scientists want technology, investors want business, and business comes from solving problems. Talking about the markets too early. Till I know what the product is, what is the use of the market? It may be big, it may be small, doesn't matter to me. So move your market a little bit. No transition logic. Between slide 1 and 2, there has to be a connecting story. Because we saw that women struggle or are embarrassed with cervical cancer testing, we felt there should be a work at home test kit. We built India's first test at home kit. The kit works by doing this. When we sell the kit, this is how we will make money. To make money, we need so much money. Please give us money. There has to be a connect between each slide as a flow. Funding ask unclear. We want 2 crores. Why? Why do you need 2 crores? What are you going to do with the 2 crores? Has to be very clear. No milestone roadmap, which means I will give you my money, and I will have to wait for a day when you will come and tell that your milestone has been reached. I will not give you my money. I want clear milestones. If you give me 1 lakh, this is what is going to happen. After 2 weeks, I will come back and ask for the next 1 lakh. I will achieve this, then again come back. Now, I will trust you more than when you give me blank statements. Many slides I have seen, they end with a thank you note. अरे यार ठीक है, वो फॉर्मेलिटी घर पे रख लेंगे, थैंक यू की जरूरत नहीं है. End with what is the future vision. You know why? Because more often than not, the last slide is what is going to stay on top of their mind. This is a company building India's first low cost satellite launcher, right? Now people will remember that. Thank you so much. My name is blah blah blah. This is my contact details. Why are people going to remember? If they want, they will remember. They will call you. But you want them to remember this, saying that, hey, you know what, Debashish, I spoke to a guy yesterday and he's saying he's able to launch satellites of 10 grams and 20 grams. So you don't need big rockets. He will remember it and you will remember it. Too many background slides, too much of scientific data, MSDS not needed for a pitch. If they ask you to come and do a 2 or 3 hour research analysis with them, then all those data is in. But when you're making a presentation, not needed. And for a lot of people, the deck was reading like a report. Please understand the deck is a pitch companion. And be very clear what a pitch companion is. Which means 95% you are the hero. The voiceover is the hero. The slides are only your sidekick. If you looked at my slides, except for slides where I have given examples, my actual slides are 1 words and 2 words. Because I am the hero, your focus should be on me and not on my slides. So these are some of the broad points that I had for you from the perspective of a pitch deck. What we will do is now we will go into the second last segment. Ding 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 ding. Where is the global one? Global one. Global one. Global one. Global one. Okay. There's not much to add value in these. I will just run through them, and when I share it, it's easy for you to understand, right? Some 20 rough questions that I feel, according to different buckets, you will face. One is the technology part, right? 4 common questions is what stops a bigger company from replicating this? Like Ravi, I'll ask you, what stops Voltas from copying what you're doing, right? How defensible is your IP? What part of the technology is truly proprietary, or is it like general science and you saying it's proprietary? What happens if your core assumptions fail, right? So these are typical technology questions. For scientific validation, they will ask you how much research have you done, how many trials have you done, what are the results of those trials. Again, don't give them spreadsheets, just give them the summary. And if they say I need more detail, double click करना है, सर मेरे को आपके ऑफिस में बुलाओ, मेरे को 2 घंटे का मीटिंग दो, मैं आके सब कुछ समझाता हूं आपको, right? Number 3, how are you going to productize this? Very, very important. You have the technology, but is there a product in this? What will stop you from manufacturing it? How can I help you in manufacturing this better? What is the cost per unit at scale? Today you're doing 10 at 1,000 rupees a piece. When you're doing 10,000, what will be the cost? What is the market? Who will be your first buyer? Very, very important. You have to be able to define who your first buyer will be. Then I know you have a solid business. Why will customers switch from current alternatives? Laboratories already have testing kits. Why should they come to you, to your technology? Number 3, how long is the sales cycle? Does it take 1 year, 1 month, 2 months to get a customer? What is the unfair advantage as compared to the competition that you have? Why are large companies doing in this space? Or why are they not doing something? What is your gross margin? What is your capital needed for scaling up? What are the regulatory risks associated? Suddenly will the government of India say, no, you can't do this? Will there be a regulatory risk? What are the execution risks? That you want to put it up in Tamil Nadu and suddenly the Tamil Nadu government says, no, this kind of manufacturing is not allowed here. What are those risks you have to talk about? And finally, why are you the right team to solve this? These are typical questions in these buckets that will come. Find answers, start writing them, right? But more importantly, when you are asked questions, how do you handle those questions? Number one, take a pause, process the question in your mind, and then answer. Process before replying. Remember, there is always an amber light between red and green. Number two, if you don't understand the question, it's always perfect. Sir, you said A plus B plus C. I heard A plus B plus C. Am I right? Then the person will say, no, 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 I said B plus C plus A. Okay, sir. What this does is, one, it ensures that you don't give a wrong answer. Two, it also gives you breathing time to think of the answer. So if there is some difficult question for which you need some time, use this as a hack. Ask them to repeat the question. Number three, when you answer, remember one idea per answer. If I am talking to you about the unit economics, only talk about the unit economics. Don't talk about the taxation. One idea per answer. If you do not know anything, unless until it's like the most fundamental thing of your business, it's perfectly right to say, I do not know. I will get back to you. Perfectly fine. But it cannot be the most fundamental thing, right? As far as possible, use examples, use analogies, use metaphors to refer what you're talking about. Do not repeat what's on the slide. If you're going to repeat what's on the slide, then why are you there? Send the deck to me. I will sit at my home, eat my coffee and food, and I will look at it. You are here for a value, and what is that value? Avoid defensiveness. People may say, "अरे नहीं 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 यार रवि ये नहीं चलेगा यार ये ऐसे मैंने बहुत filter देखा है." Maybe they're not aware, so you ask them, "Sir, you are telling this. What tells you? What makes you tell this?" Or maybe they're just testing you. I agree what you're saying, sir, but in my experience, this is what I have achieved. Answer and stop. After you have answered and they are thinking and they are not asking any question, the typical tendency is, sir, by the way, you know what, last week when we did this, then you are gone. They are also taking time to process their answer. So always answer and stop. You don't have to fill the time. Where possible, if there are certain questions which require your team members to answer it, involve them. That gives me the confidence that it's a whole-rounded team and not just a one-man show. Sir, I am the finance person in this team. The technical guy is Uttama. She will answer this. Go ahead and do that. Before I go there, I want to talk about this. Especially because a large part of this competition or whatever this cohort is for you guys to be going out of India and representing India elsewhere. Some basic pointers that you need to remember from the perspective of pitching to global investors. When you pitch globally, they are not just evaluating your startup, they are evaluating whether you can build a global company. Very, very important. When you're pitching to me in India, I don't care whether you go global. But the moment you go global, they're going to ask, what is the market in America? What is the market in France? What is the market in Africa? Make the problem globally understandable. Very, very important. Because what is true in India may not be true in America. Like first world problems. Most cities in America have people who are dog, what do they call? Babysitters. In India, that concept is still not there, right? Whereas in India, the concept of a milkman coming and giving milk at the home is like a taken for granted. In America, I don't think there is any city where the milkman now comes and delivers. So if you say, sir, when the milkman comes in the morning to deliver the milk, that guy is now thinking, "Arey, what is this? I don't know what this concept is." So make it globally understandable. Cervical cancer in India is poor. A global investor may not know the context. Say that in India, there are so many cases. Like the world, there are 120,000 cases. Now there's a context to it. Start global, then go local. Number two, avoid India-specific jargon. They will not know what is DST. They will not know what is BIRAC. They may not even know what is sign. So don't use those words. In PHCs under Ayushman Bharat, you know what is Ayushman Bharat, you know what is a PHC. For him, a PHC might be Price Waterhouse Cooper or whatever, right? So used in primary healthcare. So use generic terms. If an investor from Boston or Berlin cannot understand, simplify it. Show global relevance, that today your product is important for India, but it can work in any clinic in the world. Then they want to be interested in you. Your startup should sound global even if your first market is India. Position India as an advantage. Many people in deep tech say, India, we don't have this facility and all that. India offers massive data sets. Nowhere in the world can you get the data of 2 million people with diabetes at the click of a button. The data sets we have, so AI, many companies are coming to India because the AI data sets, the kind of data we have in India, they can't. So your line should be saying that India is a strength for me and not a weakness. Simplified technical complexity, which we have already spoken about, rather than talking about convolutional neural networks classifying histopathology images, talk about our AI analysis pathology slides in minutes instead of days. Explain the miracle first and then the mechanism later. Communicate global credibility, that what makes you right, because in India, many people, so getting a patent in India, right, many foreign investors will never believe it, because they know there are ways in India that you can get patents, you can get PhDs, everything. So they want some global credibility. So are there research published in international journals which have done due diligence is what people will want. Credibility travels before you do. People will look at your document and say, boss, this guy is believable, not believable. And when you talk, tell a global vision that I am not building this for India. We aim to expand in India. No. We aim to become the global platform for early cancer detection. We aim to replace Johnson & Johnson as the preferred vendor for these devices. We aim to replace GE as the preferred vendor for operation table X-ray machines or whatever. Investors fund global possibilities, not regional successes. You may be the biggest fish in the smallest pond of Nasik, but I want, can you get Netherlands and Namibia and New Zealand also your customers? I want to understand that. Would someone outside India understand your problem? Did I use India specific acronyms? Does my product sound globally relevant? Did I explain why India is an advantage? Did I establish global credibility? Did I have a global vision? Are some of the questions that you need to ask. Once you answer that question, rewrite your opening sentence. When you pitch globally, you're not just representing your startup, you are representing what an innovation from India looks like. And especially for this competition where Bharat innovates, that's the whole philosophy. You are carrying the flag of India. You are no lesser than PV Sindhu carrying the flag of India at the Olympics. You are carrying it at the Olympics of innovation. So remember that it's also a responsibility that you are carrying and that you have to project what you're doing. With that, we come to the last part, which is delivery. 7 very basic delivery principles that we need to do when we are pitching a presentation. Number 1, show passion for what you're solving. If I don't see the passion in your words, in your energy, I will not be excited about your project. Number 2, remember, fast speaking is equal to junior, measured speaking is equal to senior, mature. So if you are a fast speaker, slow down. Because when people think of senior people, they know that senior people speak in a very measured way. So don't rush with your content. Take time. Use pauses. People who use pauses always come out as people who are thinkers. When you don't use pauses, that's when all those things come. Consciously use pauses before you make an important point. Consciously use pauses after you make an important point. Consciously use pauses when you are asked questions. You see all these 1 second pause I gave, they make it feel that I am someone who's thinking and talking and not someone who's just blabbering. Number 3, when you stand in the room, stand as erect as possible, face the audience, chest straight, shoulders parallel, show confidence in your body language as well. Many of you come from different parts of India. Your English may not be perfect. It is okay. English is not our mother tongue. Our pronunciation doesn't have to be right. But that cannot be an excuse. So go talk to 10 other different people from other regions and ask them which words did you not understand and practice those words. Because if I don't understand what you're speaking, then I am not going to invest in you. Preparation. Do all the groundwork that you can do to get information before you even sit building your deck. You may get 200 pages worth of content. Finally, it is going to be only 1 page worth. But then you have to have all the input so that when the investor asks, you know what to refer to. And then finally, practice. Steve Jobs used to practice 15 to 16 times before a keynote. As a founder, if you want to raise 5 crores from me, I expect you to know your slides in and out. If I do the same presentation in person, I will never turn back and see my slides. Even right now, I have never seen my slides. My slides are on a different monitor because I exactly know what my slides are. As a founder, as an audience, what does this do to you? It tells you that Pradeep has done so much homework for me, I think I should respect him. So when you do homework, your audiences will also respect that homework. With that, we come to the end of the session bang on time, which also is an indicator of the effort that goes into preparing. So if you're given 9 minutes to prepare for a presentation, 10 minutes to pitch, prepare only for 9 minutes. Don't prepare for 11 minutes. If you give me 5 seconds of my life back, I will be happy. But if you take 5 seconds more than what I gave you, I will always curse you. So prepare, in and out, prepare. Those of you who are taking notes and who want my slides, please go ahead and take a scan of this QR code. If in the drop down today's session is named, use it. Otherwise, choose any other session, that's okay. In 24 hours, my team will send you this entire slide deck. Entire slide deck I will send to you. Okay? Cool. Can I request all of you to stand up, please? No, actually don't stand up. Sit. Sorry. Do a 360-degree rotation, okay, and observe everything in your room. The people, the chair, the furniture, the cupboards, items, everything. Perfect. Now please stand up. Super. Now do the same thing again. Full rotation and observe everything. Great. Don't sit, okay? Did things look the... अरे देवाशीष जी आप खड़े नहीं हुए, खड़े हो जाइए. हाँ. Did things look the same both times? No? How, Devashri? It's the same room, same people, same furniture. I didn't bring in anything. I didn't take out anything. How did it change?
The viewpoint changed.
The viewpoint changed. So think of it this way, my dear brothers and sisters. If 2.5 feet of change in your physical viewpoint can change your surroundings, if the same 2.5 feet comes in your thinking and you start looking at the world in a different way, the one thing that we all struggle is to change the world can happen so easily. To change the world, all that you need to do is to change the way you look at the world. What I have tried to do in the last 3 hours is to give you a different way of looking at the world. For some of you it may be right, for some of you it may be very wrong, for some of you it may work, it may not work. But what's wrong in sometimes trying to look at the world in a different way? You may see something new. It's been a pleasure talking to all of you. My name is Pradeep Yuvraj. Thank you so much.